What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the BallGame podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Ortiz.
As you could see, Dean isn't here, Trunks isn't here, and the innocent bystander is not with us.
No.
But we've assembled a new squad. Some would even say a stronger squad. Sitting in Matty J's seat, we have Tom. You guys have met Tom before.
Hey, guys.
Tom's back.
Welcome back, Tom.
Thank you. Happy to be here, fellas.
On the top right of your screen is the Shields, another person who has been here before. You guys have seen him if you've watched our stuff.
Welcome back to Shields.
And then bottom left, we have O'Sleazy, another person who is always here.
O'Sleazy.
So happy to be here, man.
Hi, man.
We
I
know
would say
the
welcome
vibes,
back, but you're here more than I am.
which is odd, but I'm not opposed to it.
We don't have to address it. Sorry.
Yeah, but we've assembled a great squad for today. We have a lot to talk about. The Vegas Summer League started today. Very highly anticipated games we're going to talk about. We have to grade every Eastern Conference team's off season. If you didn't see, we graded every Western Conference team's off season in our previous podcast. So go check that out. And we have a game for the end of the podcast. And that's the rundown for today. If you guys are new, leave a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out all our socials in the description. And yeah. So the Rockets and the Trailblazers played a game today. Scoot Henderson versus Eamon Thompson. The final score of that game was 100-99, and Jabari Smith hit a game winner.
Bro,
What a second half he had.
I watched only the last 12 seconds of that game, and I see whoever it was on Portland coming down the fast break. They're up, and he throws a lob. I'm like, what is going on? Catches the lob. Jabari Smith just rejects it. And then, yeah, the game winner was just a great pass by Tariq. And it was literally a mess of an ending, but it was so cool.
It was very Summer League.
Yeah, it was a Summer League game. It was so cool.
Yeah, it really was both games. The game we're going to talk about after, both games were just such Summer League games. Like,
Literally.
everyone was really just out there hooping,
Yeah.
trying to, like, catch a highlight. Like, that's what it felt like to me anyway. But
I'm looking at I didn't watch any of these games. I was at work, but I'm looking at all the box scores. Everyone was just shooting. Everyone was shooting. I mean, 199. I'm looking at the Portland Houston game. Scoot looked very good. As I said, I'm kind of stat watching here, but he hurt his shoulder, which they said they were cautious about, so they just kept him out of the game, which was cool. Because who went down? Someone went down,
and then my man went down.
Okay.
Went down. I think he sprained his ankle.
Okay.
I said, yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
both
he
of
did.
them got hurt. I thought both of them looked really good in the beginning of the game. I think Scoot had 13 in the first and Amin had 11 in the first. And then they kind of slowed down and then both left the games. But, I mean, I said it right before we started. Those guys looked NBA ready. They looked like they were ready to contribute right away. The jump shots, we all know both of them, both of their biggest knock is their shooting ability from the outside. And both of them were just impacting the game without really shooting it from the outside. Scoot looked really good in the mid-range and really comfortable in the pick and roll. He was contributing on the glass. He had active hands on defense. The playmaking was there. I mean, Scoot's gravity, both of them, they were just walking paint touches. They're just walking paint touches. And I guess the NBA comp will be ready, but I mean, just their first step and all their athletic ability, like that stuff's going to translate. They're going to be able to get into the paint like that. So I think both of them really looked like what they were supposed to be, in my opinion. Both of them were just really good defensively, really active defensively, engaged the entire game. The playmaking with both of them, we know it's incredible. And the finishing is there with both of them. They could get to the rim, and they're going to finish when they get to the rim. So
I'm so high on Amin. It's not even funny.
I had him third on my board all year.
That's why when the Rockets signed Fred VanVleet, I was like, why did y'all even? Why did y'all? I knew they had to spend the money somewhere, but like on a guy like Fred VanVleet, after you draft a guy like Amin Thompson, I
think Fred's fine. I think Dylan Brooks is where the problem comes.
Yeah. because his
I
contract.
don't mind him getting his. I really don't mind him getting his money.
Yeah.
I think he's worth the money. Like honestly, like I said on the last podcast, he's an all defensive team player. There's 10 of those every year. Technically 4, like Ortiz said, because of the positions. So he's a top 4 defender for his position in the entire NBA this past season. That guy's worth his money, but Amen needs to be the number 1 priority. So, like, by the looks of it, he's not going to start off the rip, and I think that's a concern. I think that's the type of guy who needs to get as many reps as possible. I think Fred's fine. Fred could play off ball. Like you said, they needed to spend the money anyway. So Fred's fine, and I think Amen can move around too. Like, Amen doesn't need to be guarding point guards. He could guard 1, 2, 3. So
I'm excited to see how that.
Yeah, I think that I think that like getting Fred VanVleet was needed from a leadership standpoint. I'll talk more about that. Like, you know, when you look at like offseason moves and losses for like the Raptors and whatnot when we go into the Eastern Conference thing, but he's a leader. He's a really good locker room guy. I feel like that was what was needed on the Rockets, especially after all the drama that they had circling them this past season, with just poor coaching from a leadership standpoint, really no discipline. A lot of the players, the older veterans that were on the Rockets for the past like 2-3 years, after their departures, all voiced the same thing, the same problem. Eric Gordon said the same thing. John Wall said the same thing. Christian Wood said the same thing. They all said the exact same thing about how it was just the youngsters not really playing smart basketball, winning basketball, and there really was no culture in the locker room. And I feel like that's something that he's going to instantly bring. And you mix him with Ime Udoka, and that's a good match. So I feel like that they're going to make it work.
yeah, for sure. But definitely, I mean, everyone was really impressive. I thought Tari Eason looked great in this game.
Definitely.
I think Tari Eason's going to be such a good player. I think he projects so well. They gave him a lot of on-ball reps too in this game, which I think is a good thing. You want to give your guys as many reps on the ball as possible. Same thing with Jabari Smith. Turned up in the second half, hit the game winner. So the Houston young guys looked really good.
Yeah. Branching off on that, I do think getting those on-ball reps to those players that aren't necessarily known for their on-ball ability is really crucial, because that's one of the main things that even like behind closed doors we've all kind of discussed with regards to Jabari Smith, his ability to really put the ball on the ground and make certain plays, as opposed to just being an off-ball, like drive and dunk or just pick and pop kind of player. And his like main skill set being in transition, which we did kind of see tonight. But you know, getting that more on the ball type ability is crucial. Also for Tari Eason, you know, he's not a particularly amazing off-ball 3-point shooter. So getting a little bit more of an active on-ball game where he could potentially develop a playmaking skill set or just a rim running skill set to go along with his already aggressive and well-placed defense. He can defend anything. That is crucial. Fun fact, Tari Eason, to start the rookie season last year, was one of the NBA's top statistical defenders. Just goes to show
That's
how
my boy. I tweeted. That's why I love Tari Eason. I tweeted out about that, and that tweet blew up, and his mom liked it and reposted it. And I was DMing his mom like, "Yo, your son's my boy. Like, I fuck with him." So that was pretty lit. I love Tari Eason. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. Shaedon Sharpe. What do you guys think about Shaedon Sharpe before we move on really quick? I have such mixed feelings about Shaedon Sharpe. I don't know how I feel about him.
Bro, he can jump out of the gym. That's one
I
thing
mean,
you know about him.
I think he has all the athleticism in the world, obviously. I think he has all the potential, especially now with Dame wanting to leave and everything, he has all the potential to blossom into a very good NBA player. It's just, what are you going to get from him every night? He's streaky at times.
That's one guy I think, like the Shields were saying out when we were talking before, how if Dame gets traded, he's going for like Maxey, Hero, and another guard essentially. That's one guy like you said, Scoot is gonna be a beneficiary of having another good guard with the ball in his hands, and I agree with that. But Shaedon Sharpe, like that might be a conflict. So you definitely gotta see what happens to that. That could definitely hinder his development a little bit.
Yeah, that was like, I mean, I did not name him in that conversation, but definitely like that was just a name that slipped my mind. but it was in my mind. I was like, this is too crowded of a guard room because he's not going to play. He's not going to play the 3. It's not going to happen. So like you have him, he's a 2, locked in as a 2. You have Simons, who's like he prefers to play the 2 because he shoots a lot, but he is technically a point. His size and measurables are indicative of a point. You have Scoot, who is a point. And then whoever you trade Dame for, all of the main teams besides perhaps the Knicks and the Nets, their trade packages are circled around guards, as the young guard is the main player in that package. And that's another person that you add to that mix that just makes the whole entire situation complicated. And somebody is going to suffer. Like somebody is going to not get the support that they have in the early stages. Or somebody is just literally not going to get the room to develop in the early stages, and somebody's eventually going to have their future somewhat derailed. Whichever one it is, I don't know. I know Scoot is their guy, but I don't leave that out of them, of that happening to him, because I've seen other teams who drafted somebody that high thinking that they were going to be the man, and then they were quickly replaced by somebody that was drafted after. Or the person that was drafted before just came in, just blossomed and just took over. Case in point, you look at the Pelicans. Zion gets injured, BI blossoms. It was supposed to be Zion's team, but it's more Brandon's team now. So it's like situations like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Any closing thoughts on the Blazers and the Rockets? No.
Nah.
All right, and then Wemby's debut.
Okay.
Wemby versus Brandon Miller. Final score 76-68 Spurs. In this game, Victor Wembanyama had 9 points. He had 8 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He had 5 blocks. Shot 2 for 13, 1 for 6 from 3. Brandon Miller had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block, and he shot 5 for 15. What are our thoughts?
So let me just say this.
I
Brandon
kinda
Miller's
wanna- Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
So this game from Brandon Miller, I really needed to see it. I watched it. I watched the first 3 quarters of it. I really, really needed to see that from Brandon Miller, because I was one of the people that said that the Hornets were right to draft him second and pass on Scoot. And after his initial game, that wasn't really good. He had that 6-point game where he shot absolutely terrible. He was fouling a lot. He really just it really wasn't a good showing with him. So seeing him pop out in this game against Victor was needed. Again, this was an instance in which you saw somebody, he got the right looks, even if they weren't always falling. The looks were there. Being aggressive was there. Getting to the free throw line was there. And like the aggressiveness as far as hustling for loose balls and getting all those rebounds and just moving around, that is stuff that I like to see from him. These are things that a lot of people questioned. They questioned his aggressiveness, especially offensively. His finishing around the rim was one of the worst in college, despite him being a 6'9" wing. And they questioned his strength and physicality. And really the only perk was his 3-point shot, which a lot of people still didn't trust, because his jumper before this year wasn't that good of a percentage. I can't remember what it was, but it was in the low 30s. And then this past year, he shot 40 something. So yeah, so I like that showing from him.
Yeah, no, I thought Brandon Miller, this was by far the best game of Summer League for him so far. I think his decision making has been pretty plus for the most part in the 3 games. He's had some like bonehead turnovers, but like he's been processing the defense, I think, well in the pick and roll and as a handler and just making the right read. So I think that's been good. But yeah, I mean, we knew he had some holes in his game. The finishing and stuff like that. We knew that was going to take time. He's still a kid. Like, it's going to take time. There's no reason to write him off after 3 Summer League games. Same thing with Victor. I thought Victor was I think for all of these guys in the top 4 so far in their debuts, and in Brandon Miller's case, his few games so far, they've all been pretty engaged on the defensive end. They all project to be, I mean, Victor projects to be an all-defensive player. Amin probably does too. Scoot, you can maybe even make the argument he could be an all-defensive player if he hits his full potential. And then Brandon Miller projects to be a pretty plus defender, I'd say, just because of his length. So I think that's been just a good sign that these guys are engaged and all that stuff. But Victor struggled offensively for sure. He had times where he looked super comfortable and he made these amazing passes in the half court and he was handling the rock. And there were times where he caught the ball and looked very uncomfortable, especially in his post touches, I felt like.
Yeah.
Felt like a lot of his post touches, he was rushing and stuff like that. The 3-point shot didn't look good, but I'm not like concerned with that. His mechanics are great. He's been able to make the 3. That's not why we're looking at Victor Wembanyama to be a great NBA player. The 3-point shot's a bonus with him. He's great handling the rock and he's a great defender, but I thought he was fine.
Truthfully,
I think before you go, I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you thought Victor was going to come in and be able to dominate offensively
Facts.
right off the rip.
no,
I mean,
I get that. I will say that I expected. I will say that I expected Wembanyama to. 1 second, peoples. I'm gonna let y'all do your thing.
Okay.
I think what I saw from Victor is I said in the group chat, I was like, yo, he has the ball on a string sometimes. I only watched the first half, so I don't know what happened in the second half, but I agree he looked uncomfortable in the post. Like he went up, he was backing down Brandon Miller at one point and just goes up and completely got stripped, and it looked like playing at the park. But the fact that he's just, and I know everyone's talked extensively about Wembanyama, but he puts the ball so low and he's so like quick and tight with his handle. It's crazy that he's so fluid at times. But it's a summer league game, man. I mean, like at the end of the day, I feel like in the summer league, people are like, if someone does well, they're like, oh, it's just a summer league. Wait till they play real NBA players, and then when they do poorly, it's like, wow, this is summer league. This guy can't even, you know what I mean? So, I know it's his debut, and everyone wants to like hype it up and everything, but it's not making more than it is. It's a summer league game. He'll be fine. He just needs time and development.
And him on the defensive side of the ball was tremendous.
Yeah,
as we expected. The defense there was nothing lost in translation between the 2 games coming over from France and playing here in the NBA. But we expected that. What do you have, 5 blocks this game?
Yeah.
5 blocks. He was switching a lot. He looked so switchable out there. I mean, they had him initially. His matchup was Brandon Miller. Like he was guarding the perimeter all game. And like I said in the chat before we started, he was definitely gassed.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty evident. He was gassed at times. And they were very particular with his minutes too. Like they were very, very particular in not leaving him out there in like super long bursts. So I think that's something that you could say is maybe a little bit concerning, but I think he'll adjust fine.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I have to say about him coming from overseas is, like the adjustment to the NBA pace is always complicated for anybody that comes in overseas. But I do think that it's a little alarming that even like in a half court kind of environment, there were still certain kinds of like discomfort. Not like he should have struggles, but the way in which he struggled was a little bit alarming. It's almost like he kind of like just had spurts where like he kind of like forgot what his game was, so to speak. Like he has his game. He knows what his spots are. He knows what his sweet spots are. And yeah, he does have to adjust to NBA defenses. But like when I saw him executing on offense, it didn't seem like he had like something that he would go to, something that he could just turn to, just is a good high percentage shot. His post looks seemed kind of just going with the flow as opposed to just doing what he considers reliable. And I feel like that was something that I wanted to see. You see him get any shot, make any shot in his overseas tenure. But adjusting here, I wouldn't say that there was just one thing where he's just, he can just do it and get it. And I feel like that's what the other rookies were able to do. Eamon and Scoot were able to just get to the rim and just get there. Brandon Miller knows that he has his shot, so he's setting up his shot and he's taking good looks. But I feel like Victor, he's so completely talented, but there isn't really like a go-to move that he was able to just turn to. And that, to me, that leaves a little bit of early question marks, because I thought that he would have had that, truthfully.
I think for Victor, I think it's just about figuring that out. I think he's a walking mismatch. Just because of the way his body is, like his physical talent being as large and long as he is, paws, but also just the way he moves and the way he could potentially shoot the three ball. Like, for the most part, he's always going to have some type of advantage. So it's kind of just about figuring that out. Finding his spots in the pick and roll. I felt like he wasn't really rolling. Thought everything was a pick and pop today. I think he could be lethal if he develops. He doesn't need to get to the rim every single time and dunk on people. If he develops that short roll floater at 7'5", like the floater that Bam has, with his basketball IQ and passing ability, like he should be dynamic in the pick and roll as the roll man. But I think that's something that takes time. I don't think they were running. They obviously run pick and rolls over there, but I don't think they were spamming pick and rolls with him down there in France. So, or up there, or over there.
Out there. He's also playing, like, he's gonna be playing under Greg Popovich. Like, if anyone's gonna get the most out of him, it's gonna be Greg Popovich. So yeah, it's all about adjustments. He like we said, he's playing in front of a sold out crowd. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there. He was just trying stuff, right? He was just trying to put on a show. Like,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was really at a
Kareem
They were
Abdul-Jabbar
cheering
at the
for
Summer
Victor
League,
every
bro.
time he touched the
Yeah,
ball. I
they're
think they
going crazy.
booed him at some point, actually,
Oh yeah,
when he airballed a three.
he didn't shoot good, so of course they're gonna boo him.
Yeah.
He said after the game he didn't really know what he was doing on the court. He was just trying to learn, and that basically kind of gave off that kind of vibe during the game.
He just looked like he was trying stuff.
Yeah, and like, to me, like, that's good. It's good to try stuff, but like, I felt like by the end of the game, I thought I was going to see him finish stronger offensively, and he never really finished strong individually. As a team, like, he made good looks, but you saw great passes and great ball movement and IQ from him throughout the entire thing, and that's stuff that I liked. But as an individual person, being able to call his own number, like you said, he's a walking mismatch. There should have been some situation where he just got comfortable, where it's like, you know what, I can just get this. Whether that's like just getting to like a spin in like the high post and then just getting there, or just sizing up in like the mid post and just rising up over somebody that can't do it. I just thought that I'd see something like that. It's always good to see something like that from like a young rookie. They just have a signature move.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting. It was fun to watch both games. I was happy to watch basketball. Basketball that almost felt like it meant something. Obviously it didn't, but the atmosphere there kind of felt important. But that's opening night of Summer League. I'm excited. There's a bunch of guys I'm paying very close attention to in this Summer League, and it should be a fun time. I wish I was there.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this. Out of all the players from Summer League, all the low-key prospects, not the high-key ones, who is your favorite low-key prospect that you think might just pop out?
Gigi Jackson.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Gigi Jackson. He's gonna prove in the Summer League that he should be a part of the Grizzlies rotation this year.
I respect that. I
think everyone's been saying he's gonna be in the G League. That was the thought process with him, like, during the draft process. But like, he's gonna prove that the Grizzlies should develop him in the NBA. Like, he's ready to get NBA reps off the rip. Bro,
like
there's
that.
not that many fucking 6'9" guys who can do what that dude does.
There aren't that many.
It's actually
but I just think
crazy to me that he wasn't a fucking first-round draft pick. It actually makes me so mad.
It's crazy to
nuts.
me.
He's what, 18 years old? He's the youngest player in the entire association.
Yeah. Well,
Just size and ability.
yeah, I think Bilal might be a little younger, but yeah, basically he is the youngest. He's one of the 2 youngest players.
I put all my stock into Jordan Hawkins, and it's gonna continue to stay that way.
Jordan Stockton. Okay, Jordan Hawkins.
I
What
like
you-
Nick Smith.
Nick Smith.
Yeah, I like Nick Smith. I think he's gonna be a bucket.
I think we'll go with Hami Jaquez on this one, or like what Hami Jaquez brings to the table as just a scorer, just real good scorer from all 3 levels.
Okay.
Respectable
the
answers.
Yeah, even the second year guys, I might be keeping an eye on the second year guys more than the first year guys.
Yeah.
Like today, Dyson Daniels looked good. He was iffy at times. Like he had a bunch of turnovers and a bunch of fouls, but Dyson Daniels is a basketball player. He's another guy where, just like Eamon and Scoot, all the things I said about them, like they're just they make the right read over and over and over again. And having guys on your team who make the right read is never going to hurt you, whether they could shoot or not. And when those guys are above average defenders, Dyson Daniels, I think, projects to be a really good defender too. Like, so Dyson
Yes.
Daniels, I thought was great. He's a guy like I have all the Dyson Daniels stock. I think he could be an all-star in this league. He could be an all-defensive guy.
Especially
Yes, he
over
is.
the Pelicans, where their lead guard is a score first guard, and Brandon Ingram score first. So like they need a guy that can make reads like that and
Just be a player.
Yeah.
Just be a basketball player.
Exactly.
Not be a superstar.
Yep.
He's never going to be a superstar, but he could be a star in his
Fine,
role,
yeah.
and that could,
Yeah. All you gotta do is play your role.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He's
Summer League.
a 6'6" mid-range wing.
Yeah. Summer League's dope.
He's like me.
For me,
And-
I would say that my guy is probably well, I actually have I was going for even more low-key prospects. I was looking at Amari Bailey, and I like what he did in that Hornets game. And I was also looking at Lester Quinterly. If y'all knew that. Lester Quinones, sorry, I'm bugging. Lester Quinones on the Warriors. I don't know if you guys saw the Warriors Summer League game, but that he basically looks a lot like Poole in those looks. And I found that kind of funny that they kind of just replaced Jordan Poole with somebody that plays exactly like him.
They would trade away Poole and then just get another one like right after. That's just their luck. Yeah.
There's always gonna be shooters.
Yeah.
Yes, they will.
Shit, I'm watching him play right now, and Max Christie is absolutely frying these boys.
Yes, Max Christie is.
Yeah,
Max
they're
Christie had a
playing
big game as well.
They're playing the Warriors and Lakers playing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's about it for the first day Summer League. Now we're going to get into our Eastern Conference offseason grades. But before we get into that, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, SeatGeek. If you don't know SeatGeek, you should learn SeatGeek, honestly. SeatGeek is the best ticketing app on the market. They grade their seats on a scale of 1 to 10. They also do it by color. Green means good, red means bad. We get the gist. They have great prices on there. And if you use code BallGamePod at checkout, you get $20 off your first purchase. Again, that is code BallGamePod. BallGamePod without the voice crack I just had.
Ball game.
But first team in the Eastern Conference, the Atlanta Hawks, they traded John Collins for Rudy Gay and a few second-round picks. They extended DeJounte Murray on a 4-year extension, $30 million yesterday. They drafted Kobe Buffkin, Mohamed Gaye, however you say his name, and they also drafted Seth Lundy. They waived some dude named Donovan Williams, and they lost Aaron Holiday to free agency.
They also did they get
They got
Garuba and
They got Garuba and
Ty
Ty Washington for a few second-round picks. That's the Hawks offseason so far. I give
To
the
me,
Hawks.
Go ahead, Obi. You go
The
first.
Hawks a solid B. I thought it was cool. I thought they did what they had to do. It was time to trade John Collins. It sucks that you got nothing for him, but at least you clear your books a little bit. And I think the DeJounte contract is a very, very, very team-friendly deal. I thought DeJounte was better for them than people are giving him credit for. Thought the Hawks just as a team battled a lot of injuries last year. Felt like they were never healthy at the same time. And then you had a pretty solid draft. Kobe Buffkin, I think, fits right away. He could be a guard off the bench for you who could also play with Trey and DeJounte. Even at times, probably all three of them out there together if you run 3 guards. Drafted Seth Lundy, one of the best shooters in the class, who also has size. And Mohamed Goye he's a project player to be maybe your backup center when you decide to trade Clint Capella and let Onyeka be your starter. So I thought overall it was a B. Very solid. Underrated, nothing too flashy, but put themselves in a better position, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna reinforce that I'm gonna go down a little bit to a B minus. Me personally, I've never been the biggest fan of the DeJounte Murray Trae Young fit. That being said, they did show that the fit does work objectively, like as far as just like how they play next to each other. It does help Trae a lot to have a player like Murray out there who brings intensity, rebounding. I do think that the team itself, as far as its ability to win, I just don't like the roster construction around Trae. I mean, I think offensively, I don't like the pair of them. I really don't. I don't think Murray is that good enough of a shooter or that good enough creatively as a scorer by himself right next to Trae. That being said, like aside from going to the rim, but that is something that they needed because they do not. Their interior offense sometimes was very inconsistent. So he brings that. But I do think that they don't have perimeter scoring, and that's one of the things that I've always had against them, like for years, is their lack of perimeter offense. And I don't think any of the guys that they have or added have done that. They've reinforced their guard position strength with Buffkin. They definitely fixed their salary cap, so going forward they can make certain moves. Especially freeing themselves for the John Collins situation is a massive plus. But I do think there's still work to be done. But they did make some good moves in the sense of they cleared salary cap, have their roster security locked in, and the young prospects that they got for absolutely nothing can only help, not harm. So yeah.
I think I'm gonna give the Hawks. I might have to agree with you, Chris. I'm gonna give them a solid B. Now, I'm not the biggest John Collins fan, but to basically give him away for Rudy Gay, I'm not the biggest fan of. I like that they brought back DeJounte, which at the beginning of free agency, I didn't think he was gonna come back as a Hawk this season. I still have some questions with Sadiq Bey and DeAndre Hunter and Bogey, but I think now that they have now that they're gonna go into a full season under Quinn Snyder, I think it'll be a more productive season. But all in all, I'm gonna just have to give them a solid B.
B does sound fair. I'm gonna go with B. I do like them re-signing Shantae Murray and the Shields you touched on, keeping that security on your young core and the pieces you want to build around. I agree with that. I think the contract they got him for was reasonable too. 4 years, it was 120.
30 year.
I think that's a fair contract for a player like DeJounte Murray, especially next to your franchise cornerstone like Trae Young.
It's like makes him like the 50th highest paid player in the league, like 47, something like that.
And that's fair for what you're getting out of him with your star player. I agree with it.
Personally, I went lower than all of you. I went with a C plus, and I adjusted that after I found out about the Murray contract because, like I said, 30 mil I think is really good for DeJounte Murray. Especially, I know the Rockets had to use money, but we just saw Fred VanVleet get 44 a year.
Right.
So getting DeJounte for 30 after that is I didn't think they could pull that off. But yeah, the Hawks, like trading away Collins for next to nothing sucks. But I mean, the guy's been on the trade market for like 3 years. He doesn't want to be there. It's not a good fit. You can't get anything else for him. You just got to get him off your books, and you just have to take your losses and move on. I agree that I think they have potential under Quinn Snyder because we saw what Quinn Snyder can do with. I know Trae and Donovan aren't the same players, but with an offensive juggernaut at the head of the helm, and having a guy like DeJounte next to him, I think Quinn can unlock the best out of those two. It's just I don't know. I feel like the Hawks didn't. They did what they could. There just wasn't much to do. So I graded them a little too low, but there just wasn't much to do. So they didn't really do anything like exciting.
A lot of it depends on the development of AJ Griffin and Jalen Johnson.
Right.
For them. So
I will say one thing that didn't really occur to me until Tom just said it. I personally am not a fan of teams that try to replicate rosters that coaches have previously had and trying to hope for like similar success. I feel like there always needs to be a change. Like a visible change, not like, oh, this guy's younger, this guy's a little bit better, like a visible kind of skill set change. And it didn't occur to me until you just mentioned it, just how similar the roster construction the Jazz were under Quinn Snyder and how the Hawks are now. Very, very similar. I would say that like you add in Murray, much better than Conley was when he was on that team. But overall, when you go player for player, what their role is, it's very, very similar, where you have an offensive juggernaut at the guard position. You have a big man who's not really an offensive presence outside of maybe as a lob threat, but is really there for his defense. Like Gobert was better than Capella, so you have that. But then, like I said, Murray is better than Conley. And then your wing positions, you don't necessarily have a reliable perimeter wing scoring. You have some guys who can shoot threes, some guys that can play a little defense, some are better than others. And then you have a bench guy that can give you points, which is Bogey for like Clarkson. And it's a very, very similar layout. And that's interesting. I didn't really realize how similar it was until you pointed it out.
Next team, the Boston Celtics. They added O'Shea Brissett. They drafted Jordan Walsh at pick 38. Thought that was a very good value pick. And the big move, they traded for Kristaps Porzingis. They traded Marcus Smart, Danilo Gallinari, and Mike Muscala. And they got a few draft picks in return. They lost Grant Williams to free agency. They got 2 second-round picks in a sign and trade with the Mavericks. And for the Celtics, I gotta give them an A minus. I think getting a guy like Porzingis makes your team only that much more dynamic. I think you drafted home run draft pick with Jordan Walsh at pick 38. He's a guy that I think could potentially replace Grant Williams. I think it sucks losing Marcus Smart for sure, but they had a logjam kind of similar players at that point guard position. So I think getting a guy like Kristaps, he gives you something that you didn't have. So, yeah, A minus for the Celtics.
I'm gonna have to give Boston. This is gonna sound a little harsh. I'm gonna have to give Boston a C+.
Wow.
I personally don't like the contract situation with Jaylen Brown, and that is a very, very key part of this offseason. I really don't like it. I like, don't get me wrong. I feel like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, that is a very, very good duo. I just don't see them coexisting and winning titles. That's a team that is very, very good, but I liked the fit, but then I realized I wasn't seeing that much plus development from either of them. Tatum, as far as his shot selection, to just not fade out of games in such a big way that he tends to do so. And then Jaylen Brown overall with his ball security and not being a liability when he's forced left or forced to use his left hand a lot, to the point where like he's actually like he's getting 5 to 7 turnovers in crucial games. And I don't like that. I think in the locker room after the drama with Ime Udoka, trading your leader and Marcus Smart is really unwise. I think coming off of Brogdon's injury, like he's going to be your starting guard now. I just don't like it. I feel like they did add more dynamic, like they did add Kristaps dynamic to their offense. What it cost them, I wouldn't have paid it. Me personally, I wouldn't have paid it. But it is a plus. but I just don't like what it did for the team as a whole. I don't think they're going to be any better.
Oh, so easy.
This is a very, very sensitive topic for me. So just bear with me for a second. Overall, I'm gonna have to give them a B+. Obviously we traded away Marcus Smart, which I still hate. But getting a guy like Porzingis, it really does help our teams in more ways than one. It helps us with our size. It helps us with. I don't really think we needed help with perimeter shooting because we had a lot, but adding a guy like Porzingis, 7 feet and can shoot from 35 feet out, that's always a plus for anybody's team. If he stays healthy, he's gonna be a plus for us. Losing a guy like Grant, I also really don't love because now we don't really have quote unquote dirty work guys.
You kind of look like Grant Williams.
Oh my God. I hate that you said that because every time I'm live on TikTok, it's hella people in the comments saying the same thing.
Is that Grant? Is that Batman?
I'm like it. I hate it, and the fact that you just said it just really means it's true.
Is that why you look
honestly
at the camera?
As soon as you said his name, bro, that's the first thing that came to my mind as well. I was like, it's there, bro.
But yeah, the Porzingis contract I kind of loved because I wouldn't say love. I liked it because we signed him for like 20 mil less than what I originally thought he was gonna get signed for. I still don't know what we're doing with Malcolm Brogdon. So coming into the season, I think Derek White might be our starting point guard. And I'm gonna have to agree with the Shields. I don't really know what this Jaylen Brown contract supermax is happening. I don't know if he's getting it. I don't know if he's not getting it. I pray he gets it. But overall, man, I'm had to give him a B.
I think with the contract that Fred got, the likelihood of him taking less money is very, very slim.
Right.
It would have had to have been secured before. I think right now it's really supermax or trade, and it looks like it's supermax because we haven't heard anything about a trade since the regular season ended. Really, the playoffs ended. What am I talking about? Yeah.
I'm going to give Boston a B+ here. I think trading for Porzingis, as everyone has touched on, I think it's going to really help the Celtics lose that because Al Horford's what, 35 now, and to replace Al Horford with someone better,
like that,
younger, and more versatile than Al Horford, I think is really good. Let's not forget Porzingis was a borderline all-star this past season. He was very efficient for the Washington Wizards. Just he went under everything because he was on the Washington Wizards. But I think Porzingis helps. Losing a guy like Marcus Smart it does suck. I'm a big Marcus Smart guy. I've been that way since Oklahoma State University, a big OSU guy. But with the guards you have there now, with Brogdon and White, you have versatility. You could plug and play because guard play was never a big thing for the Celtics. It was always their forwards. It was always relying on them and Robert Williams being healthy. That was always the pieces they were missing to be a title contender. And I think adding Porzingis sucks that you lost Smart, but I think it helps them overall. So B+.
I also give the Celtics an A-. Losing Smart definitely sucks. Losing Grant sucks. I mean, those are two guys that really brought the energy every single night. Losing Smart for Porzingis, yeah, I agree. I think Porzingis brings a lot to the table. I mean, you got to drive on Porzingis or Rob Will. That's not fun. Rob Will is probably as good as you can ask for a big as far as like stretching out to the perimeter too. So you definitely get that versatility there. The Celtics have been missing the same thing for a couple of years now, a lead playmaker. And, if Marcus Smart wasn't doing it for them, then he's not really taking much of that away from them. So the injuries are definitely a concern. Obviously, Porzingis has a history of not playing a lot of games. I don't know how many he played last season. I think he was relatively healthy last season, right? Yeah, yeah. And Brogdon's good when he's on the court, but the guy's just never on the court. I mean, So that just sucks. But in terms of the moves, like judging the moves themselves, I think they're good moves. I think they were the right moves to make. And yeah, they still have their concerns, but it's easy to nitpick really good teams because they're always on and in front of your face. But they're still an elite team, so they'll be fine.
Agreed. Next team is the Brooklyn Nets. They did pretty much nothing. They made no moves in free agency, no moves via trade. They drafted Noah Clowney, Derek Whitehead, Jalen Wilson, lost Joe Harris, lost Yuta Watanabe, lost Seth Curry. The Nets are just in a rebuild. I give it I guess a C plus. I don't know. They definitely passed. Like they definitely passed the test.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good score.
The C plus is accurate. I would say that there is kind of like one move, but it's not really a move. They extended Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
And the extension they gave Cam Johnson was very affordable. So I do like that for them. Bringing back Cam Johnson was a really good idea. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was less than the 27 a year that he was going to ask for. They thought he was going to ask for 27 a year because if you remember, when he was asking for an extension from the Suns, he wanted, I think it was like 25 to 27 a year, and I think he got less than that from the Nets. I think so. Overall, good extension.
I think I would have to. Yeah, I'd probably give him a C minus. But I am really high on Jalen Wilson and Derek Whitehead, so that's a plus.
Definitely had a good draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So other than that, nothing really moved the needle for them. So C minus.
C plus is fair. I mean, there's not really much to say, so C plus.
I think C plus too. I think for what they lost, they did an okay job of replacing. They weren't really primed to make any big moves. So again, just another team that just kind of took care of what it needed to. They didn't panic and overpay for anything. Some people are saying Cam Johnson was an overpay. Even if it was, like you give him that contract. Like what else are you supposed to do? You know. So yeah, I think
you got to give someone money.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to pay somebody. He's a good player, and if he makes Bridges better, then all the better. You know.
They are a team to watch for future moves, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Nets right now is just acquiring as much assets as possible.
Yeah, that and
they're going through a rebuilding, retooling period. I think the biggest thing is just picking a direction and sticking to that direction. Build it through the draft.
Yep.
The Nets were one of the teams that Dame wanted, but they were also a team that was heavily involved in potentially trading Claxton and Simmons this offseason, at some point this offseason. So that's something to also look out for.
Yes.
Moves in either direction.
Yeah, and that's the Nets. Next team, the Hornets, another team that didn't really do much. Miles Bridges is back. They lost Dennis Smith to free agency. They lost PJ Watt. They didn't lose PJ Washington yet.
They didn't get him back though.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna get him back.
He's lost.
They drafted Brandon Miller second overall. Drafted Nick Smith at 27, James Nnaji at 31, and Amari Bailey at 41. I give the Hornets. I give the Hornets a B minus, I'll say. I didn't love the draft. It was okay. I don't really care that they didn't sign anyone. I think just adding Miles Bridges back is only going to help on a basketball standpoint. And losing the guys you lost, I don't think it really hurts that much. PJ Washington, you knew he was probably out the door. The biggest thing for them is hopefully one of those second-year guys develops. They need a guard. They need someone to play with LaMelo that's not Terry Rozier. They need to be comfortable enough to move on from Terry Rozier. They have these three guys, James Bouknight, Bryce McGowens, and Nick Smith Jr. One of those guys and Amari Bailey.
Yeah.
One of those dudes has to be able to become the two guard next to LaMelo. I think that's really important. You have Mark Williams, you have Brandon Miller, you have Miles Bridges, you have LaMelo. So like that 2 guard is really, really important for them, I think.
Yeah, I think that to me, I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like Nick Smith. Me personally, I felt like Nick Smith is like a spark plug kind of guy. I think his career potential is ultimately to be a spark plug 6-man. I feel like Amari Bailey is a willing, dirty work kind of shooting guard, and I feel like that's somebody that you might want to put next to LaMelo. And then Book Knight. I mean, I have not seen anything really good from Book Knight in Summer League and the G League like appearances last year. I really haven't seen anything from him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never liked the Book Knight pick, even from like last year. I felt like it was just completely weird. I think it was just he came in there playing for a well-regarded UConn team, you know, came in there, gave some spark plug scoring, had a nice combine, and they said to themselves, shit, we need a shooting guard. Let's do this. I just felt it didn't make any sense. But, you know.
I'm gonna give the Hornets probably. I'm gonna give them a solid, like an even C. You did resign LaMelo, gave him the Supermax deal. Miles Bridges is coming back. I just feel like it's like you said, Chris. I think it's time for them to move on from Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, most likely PJ Washington. It's just the Hornets. They're poverty. That's
all there is to say about them.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Their summer league team looked horrible. A lot of these summer league teams were looking at them to be promising for a team's future. Their summer league team looks terrible.
They put up 68 points. 68
right.
points.
Unless Brandon Miller is, him, maybe we'll have a different conversation. But solid C.
Yeah, I'm gonna go C plus. I mean, as you said, they haven't really done much. They drafted okay, and strictly as a basketball standpoint, Miles Bridges isn't gonna hurt you. He's a good lob threat around the rim for LaMelo. Just another guy for him to pass to, I guess. But it's really it. C plus. Go Hornets.
Yeah, I'm also going C plus. I mean, the thing about the you're relying on Hornets to develop players, and they just don't do that. They don't bring in they don't do anything. They just kind of it's just kind of there.
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. I will say this one thing. I do have some stock in second year players. Mark Williams.
Yeah,
I think Mark Williams is gonna have a nice season. Played real good last year.
Mark.
I think now is a more prominent center role. He's gonna have a good impact.
Yeah, Mark Williams could be good, and Steve Clifford's going to play him 55 minutes a night, so he'll run that boy into the ground. They have interesting pieces, Obviously, they have LaMelo. They just paid him a ton of money. Bridges, again, basketball standpoint, he put up 20 a game. Mark Williams, so it's all about what they can do with it. That's again as far as the offseason. I guess they didn't do anything negative, so that's a good takeaway, I guess, but. Yeah.
Last year, they traded away one of my favorite players on their team.
Who was that?
Last year, they traded away one of my favorite players on their roster, McDaniels. McDaniels was spazzing when he was on the
I thought you were going to say Plum Dog.
No, McDaniels.
Plum Dog millionaire.
Plum Dog.
Both of the McDaniels are hella nice.
Yeah, I like that. Plum Dog millionaire.
Both of the McDaniels brothers are hella nice. Really nice.
Shout out
Real
Plum
good,
Dog.
real good
Word.
fellas.
Next team, my Chicago Bulls.
Ooh.
We re-signed Nikola Vucevic, 3 years, 60 mil.
Literally.
We signed Javon Carter. We signed Torrey Craig. We re-signed Kobe White. And for whatever reason, we traded into the draft and drafted Julian Phillips at 35. I don't know how to feel about that. I didn't really like Julian Phillips. I didn't do any research on Julian Phillips. He kind of just existed in my draft board. I'm not going to lie. He's just a guy. Like, I don't know. He don't really do
He's just a guy.
He doesn't do anything.
I will say,
particularly great. He's okay. He's okay. I don't know.
You guys drafted an RJ Barrett. Good job.
I will say, Chicago is unlucky.
Yeah, we lost Patrick Beverly. Ayo Dosunmu's still up in the air. It seems like we're going to lose Javonte Green. And Derek Jones Jr. is still a free agent. I don't know. I give the Bulls probably a C. I think losing Vucevic would have really hurt us. I'm fine with the Vucevic contract. I don't really care. I'd rather have Vucevic for that money than have no center. Like,
But
he's the only
he
center
kinda
on the
is
team.
like no center, but he's better than nothing.
He's better than nothing.
Definitely better than nothing.
Yeah, he's definitely better than nothing.
I think he bought in last year. I thought he was good for us last year. I think he really bought into trying to do the little things. So I don't mind that. This team just has no direction. I just don't know where we go. We might be the most like deep down into purgatory team in the NBA right now. Honestly. When you think about like the middle of the pack teams, like who's more middle of the pack than the Chicago Bulls right now?
Mm-hmm.
I think 1 to 30, they'd probably be around 15.
Yeah.
Mid.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
worse than that. Probably like 17.
Yeah.
Y'all in Atlanta, like right here, neck and neck with middle of the pack.
Atlanta's better than us.
Yeah.
I think so.
Atlanta's in a
Atlanta
better
definitely has a
spot than
higher
us.
ceiling than
Yeah, they're in a better spot
Yeah.
than y'all, of course.
Maybe like 14, 15,
I just
14, 16.
We suck. I hate it. I don't even know. I hate talking about the Bulls, honestly.
I'm gonna have to give the Bulls a C. I'm gonna have to give the Bulls a C. I genuinely thought this whole offseason was supposed to be about trading everybody except for Zach and Lonzo. Like, and even then, the Lonzo thing, I thought Lonzo might be moved, but I genuinely thought this whole thing was about trading everybody except for Zach. Thought that was a given. So
And also, real crazy thing about Lonzo, how he's not going to play again this entire
Might
season.
not play again ever.
I know, it's insane to think about
It's
that.
so crazy.
I blame.
I didn't know the NBA had a disability.
I didn't even. Yeah.
I didn't know that
didn't-
that was a
exception,
contract
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I seen that, and I really didn't know that was even possible.
I didn't expect that to be an actual thing, and then they said it, and I was like, "What is this?"
Well, I think what's funny is like the only reason why I kind of like it seemed familiar to me is because they do that in football all the time.
Mhm.
Like when a player like is just not gonna come back for a while or not gonna come back at all. Like they did that when Eric Berry like got cancer. They didn't like voided it, or Casey didn't have to pay like his entire freaking thing, contract and whatever.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, I mean, it's really, really bad. It's unfortunate. You know, that's a situation where like, you know, you really can just blame LeVar, honestly. It's the shoes that he was forced to wear, where he just kept on getting injured in those bum shoes, and then he just developed chronic injuries. Like that's the only explanation. That's the only explanation.
Fun
That's
fact: I
really-
almost bought a pair of those shoes.
wow.
Those shoes might be
like
the
$500.
Yeah.
They were like $650.
crazy.
I immediately.
You could have bought an autographed pair for
Yeah.
like $900, an extra $400 on top.
Yeah.
I immediately said no.
A $900 pair of Lonzo Ball autographed shoes.
You ruined,
Just never touch
Trying to
a basketball
ruin his
again.
knees in them. Yeah.
you ruined Lonzo for real. And
Um,
LaMelo was smart because LaMelo knew not to get caught up with that shit and sign with
Puma
immediately.
immediately.
Mm-hmm.
MB1's on, y'all ain't ready.
I think
Hopefully Lonzo makes it as a rapper though.
Oh, rapper
He's not.
Alonzo.
I think it's very unfortunate.
Sad. Yeah.
Fun fact: Vooch averaged the exact same stat line in back-to-back seasons. The exact same stat line,
It's pretty nuts.
down to the decimal for points per game and rebounds and assists.
And got paid more money than he did last season.
Yeah.
All right, next team, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I'll give the Bulls a C.
Oh, you guys didn't give your. I
don't
thought you
even
did it
think it was
while
sleazy one.
we started talking about the Triple B shoes.
I heard you all talking.
Yeah, we just went over.
So I thought you.
Um,
Talking about Lonzo for a bit.
what do I get a Bulls? I get a Bulls I give him a C minus just because they haven't traded Zach LaVine yet, and I would hate to see him in a Bulls uniform again next year. But other than that,
What
C
do you
minus.
mean?
I'm not gonna lie, Zach's the one that's supposed to keep. They're supposed to trade
Yeah,
them all.
Please.
Get him out of there, please. I hate to see him waste his prime in Chicago, please.
They're supposed to trade DeMar.
Beal 2.0.
Both of them.
Oh
Get rid
man,
of everyone.
you give them a C.
I'm gonna stick with my C. Go Vucci, man.
I give him a C, man. Like they're just not doing anything cool. Like they're just
They're boring.
They're just not doing,
boring.
like they're keeping together this core that is supposed to do what? Maybe make the playoffs. It just makes no sense how you don't move on from these guys.
Play the good
When
teams. good.
DeMar averaged
That's it.
27 a game, I don't know. He probably put up something close to that this season, right? Like 25ish a game.
Yeah.
Like
something like that.
get him, like trade him. Like what are you doing? It's only going no disrespect to DeMar, but like it's only going downhill from there. So yeah, the Bulls are just so mid.
They ain't never done a 2K rebuild. DeMar's gonna regress
I remember
so
the
much
beef
after the
on
season.
this podcast about the Bulls being better than the Knicks in the regular season. That was beef.
That. I fought for them this year. I thought this year they were gonna be good, man.
At the beginning of the year, before Alonzo got hurt, I had high hopes for y'all.
Yeah, Caruso. They got Caruso, and nobody was scoring on them too. Like,
oh man, the Cavs are the next team. I give what did the Cavs do? The Cavs signed Ty Jerome. They signed Georges Niang. They signed and traded for Max Strus, and they brought back Karis LeVert on a 2-year deal. They drafted Imani Bates, and they lost Robin Lopez, Cedi Osman, and Lamar Stevens. They traded. I give the Cavs an A-. Thought the Cavs pretty much bodied the offseason. I don't think there was any big moves for the Cavs to make. I think it was just about bolstering the depth around your young stars, and they did exactly that. Max Strus, I think, has shown he could be a great role player. Georges Niang was really good for the Sixers in stretches, and those guys could shoot the ball, and the Cavs lacked perimeter shooting. I think getting Karis LeVert back is a good deal. I know he was iffy for them this past season, but Karis LeVert is a decent player. Like at its worst, he's still a decent player. And I think the Ty Jerome signing is very, very underrated. I think he could legit be their backup guard. I think he's a very good playmaker. He could shoot the 3 ball. He's just going to be solid for them. So Cavs get an A- from me.
I want to. Honestly, I'm gonna go with an A-. A lot of my comments are kind of like nitpicking at certain things that I feel like the Cavs kind of need or could have done better at. Agreeing with everything you said, they didn't really need to make any big moves. I just feel like there were opportunities for them to kind of like get obviously what they need to me, like what they needed going into this offseason was they needed some depth at the small forward position, shooting in their wings, length in their wings, because at any point in time, their only eligible small forward, like real small forward, was Okoro. And that's problematic, because he's an offensive liability. And then when you switch him out for somebody that can play offense, their defense is terrible, right? And I feel like that is something that they should have addressed. Me personally, I felt like the Cavs needed to win the Bruce Brown sweepstakes or trade for O'Neal or get Rui maybe. I mean, he got completely priced out based on what LA gave him, but just get a player like that can give you offense and defense all in one. Niang is really good. Like Max Strus is really good too. Like great shooters. So they got better shooters than I expected. But the defense could potentially still be a problem. But I think they'll work it out. I'll agree with the A-.
Surprisingly, the Cavs really shocked me with their offseason moves. I'm gonna give them an A- because with their core, Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen, they didn't really need to assess or move any of those guys. They really had to just round out the rest of the roster, which is what they did. Signing Max Strus, Georges Niang. I thought they were gonna get McDaniels from Philly to help with their defensive wing problems. Like you said, Chris, Ty Jerome is a very underrated signing. I do think he is gonna be their lead guard off the bench. I don't really know what they're doing with Ricky Rubio, so I guess that's more than likely why they signed Ty Jerome. So all in all, yeah, I'm gonna give him a solid A-.
I'm gonna give the Cleveland Cavaliers just an A. I think the young core you have is still improving. Donovan Mitchell still improving. We saw him improve his playmaking this year and still be elite at scoring the basketball. We know what Darius Garland could do. We know we can get better at. We know what he will get better at. We know Evan Mobley's just a matter of time, and Jared Allen's the same thing. Well, Jared Allen's kind of at his peak now, but the big three, it's all about developing and getting shooters around this defense. Because there are people nitpicking the Shields. The Shields was nitpicking the defense, but this defense was still the best rated in the NBA by 2 or 3 points.
I have to nitpick, bro. After
I
what
know,
happened.
I know.
No,
But
it's only. I mean, you guys are Knicks fans, and you saw what you did. So that's
no,
why.
oh yeah. I mean that was also a lack of scoring from the Cavs, and I think the Cavs did a really good job at rounding out shooters around these other players. And all in all, it's just a really good free agency.
That's true. I'll give you guys that. That's true.
I'm also giving the Cavs an A. I think they nailed this free agency. Kind of sucks that they had to lose Osman because he was solid for them as a wing, but Strus, lights out shooter. He once in a while in the playoffs, he's going to turn into Klay Thompson for a little while. Niang, great for what you need him to do. Good shooter. And yeah, they just took care of their needs again. Didn't panic. Didn't do anything crazy. They were a really good team last year. Donovan's an offense by himself. Garland, Mobley, they're just going to get better. And yeah, the Cavs should be really good. And yeah, it wasn't really what the Knicks did to them. It was more like what the Cavs didn't do. It was just a ugly but really fun series to watch. But yeah, the Cavs just got a lot better. So
I feel you.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the Mobley showing on defense going against Julius. I feel like he got really
he got bullied,
out hustled. Jared Allen got outran. And that's really just a testament to their lack of perimeter defense, that it's really all on your bigs to kind of overcompensate, be switchable, to contest every shot. And that's what led to their defense being really good in the regular season. But in the offseason, it was too much on Jarrett and Mobley being perfect for their defense to work, because you could not play a Coro. Your offense was really bad. It was Donovan by himself as is. And you literally could not run a Coro in that offense. You had to play Karras. You had to play Osman. You had to play Stevens. And so that's why it was like having a 3-and-D guy at the wing who could really lock up but also help with the flow of the offense is like something that I felt like they needed to get, like a tone setter, the person that you have to beat to get to the rim, where your rim protection is really good, as opposed to, I just blew by and the rim protection is waiting for me.
If they would have landed like a good 3-and-D, like a Bruce Brown, or I know you mentioned Royce, on like A+ offseason, but yeah, they did what they could. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, the next team, my Detroit Pistons. We signed Monte Morris. Actually, no, we traded for Monte Morris. We traded for Joe Harris. We drafted Asar Thompson at 5. We traded up and drafted Marcus Sasser at 25. We lost Corey Joseph. And I give us a B. A B.
Piston Nation, stand up.
I like the Asar pick. I think it's fine. I had Asar at, I think, 6 on my board.
So did I.
Something like that. 6
I had
or
him at
7.
6. So, yeah. I had 7
So,
to Indy.
yeah, I had Asar at 7. But I had Gigi Jackson in my top 5. So really I had Asar at 6. I love the Marcus Sasser draft pick. I think that's the guy that's going to be your backup point guard for the foreseeable future. He's a guy who could, again, share the court with Cade and Jaden Ivey at the same time, even for stretches, because of Cade's versatility. So I love that pick. I think you added shooting in the Joe Harris pickup. I think Monte Morris, for now, while Marcus Sasser's still learning, is another guy who could stretch the floor for you. So I think the Pistons made good moves this offseason. I think Bojan's still a positive asset for them that they could get something in return for. And I think the Pistons is just about developing talent right now and surrounding that talent with good veterans that are malleable and could contribute in different ways and provide spacing. So B for the Pistons.
I agree with that.
I mean, if Asar hits, Like if Asar reaches his fullest potential, then it's an A+ draft because that's an all-star caliber player, all defensive type player.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
What you
Shields.
think, Sleazy? What you thinking? You seem deep in thought.
The Shield, you've been going second every time.
We had a flow here.
We had
Yeah,
no-
I thought
True
he was
that.
just going. I was gonna wait.
True that. All right. So for me, I'm gonna have to second what OB was saying. A B is a really good grade for them. Like for the exact same reasons. You know, I like the SR pick. Awesome. I had him at 7, but then again, I also was buying into all of the hype about Whitmore potentially going top 5 because of how great of a combine he had. And so that was really unexpected to find out that despite the great combine, nobody really liked him. Well, not nobody really. Nobody liked him at all.
I would have given the Pistons the same grade if they took Cam at pick 5, honestly.
Honestly, I would have given them a B-. All-star, being smart enough to take All-star is kind of like, because I never liked Whitmore.
I like the Asar pick. I wasn't that high on Cam Whitmore either as a prospect. I just thought he fit there.
He
If
did.
there was any team in the top 10 that he fit with the most, it was there. So
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense as an off-ball player. But yeah, so like, yeah, getting Asar I think is awesome. The one thing I don't like, I see its potential, but I don't really like it. I don't see the point in getting Sasser. That's like 3 consecutive guards that you took with a first round pick. I think that's kind of dumb, so to speak. I could see why they needed it because Hayes really hasn't shown anything, but like I would have at least tried to like really see if you can't convert him into something of a backup point guard that can fit that offense before I spent another draft pick on a guard. I feel like they could have facilitated and got another wing. But again, this is nitpicking. Like objectively fitting the team, he's a perfect player for it. I just don't like the idea of oversaturating, using draft capital, which you had to trade up for, to oversaturate at a position you already spent picks on. That's my only comment.
I would give Detroit probably a B-, C+ kinda ish. I kind of feel the same way about Brooklyn and Charlotte. Like they didn't really make any like needle moving moves in the offseason to really like wow me or anything. They did get Monty Williams, so that's a plus, obviously. I think he's gonna really help guys like Cade, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, help all those guys really turn the corner coming into next season. But they're really just meh. Like if they're good, they're gonna be fun to watch. But if not, we're just gonna have to wait till they develop more.
I think they will be good. They have one of the best young cores
For
in the
sure.
NBA. With those guys that you just named, Cade, Ivy, Duren, I really like that. And now also I really like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with those lazy. I'm gonna go B-, but like the lowest B- ever. And I mean, simply because, as you said, they're young core. It all just depends on time. I think the pick of Asar, because how tall is Asar? I always get confused.
like 6'7".
Yeah, so he's tall enough to play that.
6'7", 6'8".
6'7", 6'8". So he's tall enough to play that 3, and you already have your backcourt of the future with Ivy and Cade, and that's set in stone from last year. Seeing what Ivy was able to do, and he's only going to get better. And obviously Cade going down, but with Cade and Ivy both healthy, with Jalen Duren, as the Knicks gave him away for nothing, B- is fair. They didn't really do much, but it all depends on time.
I gave Detroit a B+. I like the moves they made. They didn't, they're just doing what they have to do. I think their primary focus right now, especially that he's coming off torn ACL. You have a player like Cade, you want to make his life easy. You give him a great coach in Monty Williams, and you make his life easier. I shouldn't say easy, but You go get Joe Harris, guy that can space the floor. You know, he's going to knock down threes. Like, if he's going to do nothing else, he's hitting shots. Monte Morris is a solid spark plug off the bench. He could take pressure off those guys. And Ivy too. You know, they're both Cade and Ivy really good at getting to the basket and finding those shooters. So I like what they did, and they could surprise a lot of people. They're gonna be a fun team to watch for sure, and a sleeper team for sure going into next season.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
I love the Pistons.
Yeah, man.
It's my
Motor
squad.
City, baby.
It's my squad.
They got some clean throwbacks too that they
Yeah.
need to. Those are
Arguably some of the best in the league.
yeah.
Those are my boys.
Word.
Next team, the Pacers. Pacers had a relatively busy offseason. They signed Bruce Brown to a 2-year deal. They traded for Obi Toppin for just 2 second-round draft picks, and they re-signed Tyrese Haliburton to a 5-year extension, $260 million max money. They were busy in the draft. They drafted Jarris Walker at 8. They actually traded down from 7, which it's always good if you're going to trade down and get an asset and draft the guy that you were going to draft anyway. Ben Shepherd at 26, Mojave King at 47, and Isaiah Wong at 55. I give the Pacers...
Take a second.
I give the Pacers a B. I think it was solid. I think you overpaid for Bruce Brown a little bit. I think, actually, B+. B+ for the Pacers.
Do you really think Bruce Brown was an overpay?
Think a little bit.
I think it was a slight.
What's he getting?
He's
20.
he's
I
getting,
think it's 24 a year. I think it's
It's only 2
Yeah.
years though. Keep in mind.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
he's
he's
only a few
overpaid
years.
a little bit. I think he earned his money.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was going to get that money from a team. I think teams were bidding a lot for him. Like, whoever got him was going to end up overpaying. But, yeah, I don't think Bruce Brown is worth that much money.
No. Mm-mm.
I think he's a really good role player. Like, one of the best role players in the association. But I don't think he's worth that money.
I don't think so either.
I think the Pacers are fine. I think you got to give them a plus grade for just getting Obi Toppin for free. That's just another guy you're adding into your young core for nothing. I think they're in a good spot. They're just another team where there's not really much to say. It's a lot about development.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't realize you was done. My bad, Obi. Yeah. I agree with that. Indy, I'm gonna give them a B minus. A B actually. B. Same reasons. You know, they kind of didn't really make like a crazy move to warrant something higher, but they didn't really do anything negative. They kind of did make like a trade, so to speak, in the sense that like they got 2 seconds. No, they traded 2 seconds to get Obi Toppin, and then got 2 seconds back by trading Chris Duarte. So they basically just flipped Toppin for Duarte, which is a plus. You get a younger player at a position that, you know, you need. I feel like they've always had like some question marks about that whole entire big man thing. I'm still trying to figure out who their power forward of the future versus center of the future is going to be. But that's like really like an on-court fit type situation. As far as just strictly where our roster moves, really, really good. You know, you can't do wrong. You can't go wrong with what they did.
I'd give the Pacers. I give them a solid B, because I really truly thought that they were going to trade Miles Turner to the Knicks. Like, I really truly believed that in my heart that was going to happen. But instead, I'm assuming they're decided on keeping him. They signed Bruce Brown, signed Tyrese Haliburton to a max contract. You still got guys like Benedict Mathurin. They drafted pretty okay, but it's not really. They're really just waiting on development now. They're not really. They didn't really do anything crazy.
I'm gonna go in that B plus range, leaning more towards a B plus. I think you had a really good draft, good value with all your picks. As you said, they traded down and still got the player they wanted. I think Isaiah Wong late in the draft is going to be a nice backup guard for Tyrese Halliburton. I do agree that Bruce Brown was overpaid, but as you said, the sweepstakes, someone was going to overpay for him. And why not put him next to Tyrese Halliburton? I think it's a really good compliment to him. So I just think all in all, it was a really good offseason. You didn't hurt your team. You got Obi Toppin for free. Just did good things all around. So B+.
I went a little higher than everybody. I went A-. I really like what the Pacers did. Bruce Brown probably was a slight overpay, but again, it's only 2 years. You're not married to him or anything. They got Obi Toppin for free. You can never complain about that. Tyrese is gonna bring a lot out of him, and Thibodeau just didn't use him. So anything they do with him is gonna be better than what Thibodeau did with him.
You saw what Tyrese said?
No, I didn't actually.
Tyrese said that his on-court chemistry with Toppin is about to be like Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. He's gonna throw him and be like Obi's up there somewhere.
Tyrese got it out for us because Wally Serbiak was shit talking him. So he didn't like us. But anyway, yeah, Bruce Brown. They had a good draft. Walker has all defensive upside. He could be a really, really good player. But again, it's waiting. It's a waiting game. If they do it right, it could end up being really good. They didn't flip Turner and Hield and just get rid of those guys. They decided to buy in and try and be competitive. And when you're a smaller market team like that, I think it's important to try and be as good as you can and show people that this is a place you want to come and have a great opportunity here.
It's weird. I feel like they see something that we're not actually seeing, because from a strictly cap standpoint, it makes no sense to do that. It made no sense to give Miles the extension a couple years ago, not to trade Hield when the Lakers and everybody wanted him for his skill set, only for his statistics to drop. So his value is less now than it was when they first had him, among other things. So it's very interesting. They must be seeing something we don't see, where they can just quickly turn around and win, I guess.
That's why they get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, they've been doing all right so far, considering.
Next team, the Miami Heat. Miami Heat are probably the most interesting team of this offseason period.
Mm-hmm.
They signed Thomas Bryant. They signed Josh Richardson, brought him back to town. They re-signed Kevin Love. They lost, obviously, Max Strus in the sign and trade with the Cavs. They lost Gabe Vincent. They lost Victor Oladipo in a trade. And they lost Cody Zeller. They drafted Jaime Jaquez at pick 18. The Heat, if they don't get Damian Lillard,
they're fucked.
Give them an F.
Yeah.
They failed. They lost so much, and they didn't replace it.
So little, yeah.
If the Heat get Damian Lillard, I give them an A+.
That's it.
They're the best team in the East if they get Damian Lillard. So it's really I don't really have shit else to say about the Heat.
Best team in the East is crazy.
That's not crazy.
I don't think
it's maybe an argument, but it's definitely not crazy.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's definitely an argument.
Yeah.
I think
I could change my mind on that.
Yeah.
I know how I feel about the Heat. So
me personally, the best team in the Heat, the best team in the East. The best team in the East is, granted, they're not going anywhere, but it's probably Boston. My instinct is to say Bucks because I do love the Bucks.
Me too.
But it's just the whole entire Middleton situation. We're gonna get to that. I'm not gonna go too much into the Bucks. We are gonna talk about them, but I feel like even with Dame, I can never say with confidence Miami is number one in the East. They'd be up there. I can never say with confidence.
It's so simple. They were just in the finals. Now they have Damian Lillard.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's something.
It's a discussion. It's definitely a discussion.
Yeah.
What grade do you give the Heat, the Shields?
Basically the same thing as you. As far as grading the offseason, if they get Dame, then objectively you're at an A+. But with everybody that they lost, they're looking at a D+ right now. I think that it really is Dame or bust. I can't see them getting anybody else. If they don't get Dame, they're gonna be screwed. I don't know who they're gonna get. They wouldn't be doing all this if they weren't very certain that they're gonna get Dame or somebody. So one way or another, I think they're gonna have a big guard this offseason. I just don't know who that guard's going to be. Could be Dame, you know.
Are they in the market for Harden at all, or?
If they don't get Dame, they'll probably take whatever they can get. I would imagine.
No, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
but because they lost everyone else.
I think they're just so hyper focused on Dame. I haven't heard much about Harden and the Heat, but that would be.
But I guess if you don't get Dame, that has to be
Yeah,
the
it
next
has to
target
be.
you go
Yeah.
for.
Without a doubt, that's their backup because Kyrie already extended.
Yeah,
So he's
Kyrie's
the last
already
person.
locked up.
Kyrie's gone, Fred's gone, so it's really Dame, and then you have to get Harden, otherwise you're kind of screwed. You just lost your whole team. You just went.
Yeah, it's all about just making the right trade for them.
I think I'm gonna give the Heat respectfully a D+. Respectful, because I could go way lower, but I'm not gonna.
You like literally can't go much lower.
Can't go much lower than that, Sleazy.
I can go like triple F, but I ain't going that far.
No, you could.
But like I was saying, it's pretty much Dame or bust. They lost Gabe Vincent, lost Max Strus, lost Victor Oladipo, but they did bring
They never
in
had Depot, to be honest.
Yeah.
True. Did they re-sign Kevin Love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a plus, I guess. I like the Jaime Jaquez draft pick. I think he's gonna be really good for them. But it's really Dame or bust. If they don't get him, they're pretty much gonna be the same old 7th, 8th seed fighting their way in the playoffs. Maybe I doubt they get to the finals again. But that's just me personally.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Without Dame, this looking more like a playing team because they don't even have the guys that they had with the finals run.
They were a playing team last year, so if they're a playing team again, it wouldn't surprise me with or without Dame.
But this time they might lose though. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I
All
think
Chicago had to do was beat them for 3 minutes. That's all Chicago had to do was just win.
Yeah, but Chicago is not good at that.
You think if the Bulls knock them out, it changes anything for them in the offseason? Like, do they do?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I think they start trading.
No, I'm talking about the Bulls.
Lowry's gone. Oh,
no,
for the Bulls?
I'm talking about the Bulls. Yeah.
Oh,
I saw someone say that today on his.
Nah,
I don't think so.
because the Bulls are still rolling with the core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving the Heat a.
Well, it depends. Well, think about it, OB, because if they win that series, right, and they go play Miami, and they win that first round series, right? Wait, who they
Against
play
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee,
in Milwaukee? Yeah, unless if they somehow find a way to beat Milwaukee, I think they just do the exact same thing. They probably you'd probably see bigger moves to add players. If they lost to Milwaukee, I could actually see that being the reason for them to blow it up. I think the play-in situation, not having Lonzo, it was the right kind of storyline for them to think that, like, hey, we really kind of just had like untimely injuries. We didn't really know what our flow was. Maybe let's run the core back. I think when you lose in like a playoff, like something about losing in a regular playoff series that makes people want to change their team. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how many losing play-in teams have made big moves, but like we've seen teams that lost in the first round change everything because it just didn't work out.
Word.
What do you give them?
You guys pretty much hit the nail on the head with this one. They don't get Dame, they're fucked. So F. But if they get Dame, they are awesome. A. Yeah.
I gave them. I same logic. I went right in the middle. I gave them a C for now because
That makes sense.
It just depends. Like it could go one way or the other. I think objectively, Richardson and Bryan are good big pickups, but you lost Strus and Vincent. You're just nothing's gonna happen. They replaced Cody Zeller with Thomas Bryant. Cody Zeller fucking sucks at basketball. It was so funny watching Jokic just throw him. Like literally, he would see Cody Zeller and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try this," and then just score or get it. Like, it's crazy.
I wonder if this will work.
Crazy, yeah. Literally, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's definitely that's going to be what we're watching all summer. What the Miami Heat do if they end up getting Dame. The next team, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes, sir.
They re-signed Jay Crowder. They re-signed Brooke Lopez. They re-signed Chris Middleton.
Mhm.
They signed Malik Beasley. They signed AJ Green, and they
Mhm.
signed Robin Lopez. And also they drafted Andre Jackson at pick 36 and Chris Livingston with the last pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. They also lost Joe Ingles to free agency. I give the Bucks a B plus. I think getting Malik Beasley is definitely a plus over Wesley Matthews. I think Malik Beasley will be better with the Bucks than he was with the Lakers. I think Andre Jackson at 36 is gonna fit in perfectly with this team, and I think you got to re-sign your guys and try and ride this thing out. I don't know what else they would do if they didn't re-sign Chris and Brooke. I think they'd be in trouble if they didn't re-sign those guys.
Yeah.
This core has shown that they can win a championship before. If you want to say it's fluky, say it's fluky. A championship's a championship. So I think they made all the right moves.
I'm gonna have to give the Bucks an A. And the reason why I give the Bucks an A is because they re-signed their guys, but it's also the price with which they re-signed their guys. Like when Middleton opted out, honestly my thought process was, okay, Middleton is gonna ask for something stupid that the Bucks are not gonna want to do. And what does he do? He asks for like how much money? How much less was it? The max was like 206 or 220, 210 something, and he gets like 150. I was like,
Chris Middleton signed. He's getting $34 million a year. That's a 3-year 102.
yeah, he took 3-year 102. See, it took so much less. It was gonna be 40 something. It was gonna be near 50 a year. The Supermax. So for him to take significantly less, like really take that discount, huge. I think bringing back Brooke after that season was huge as well. I did want to see them get a younger, more versatile kind of person to rotate in there. But this is like a problem for another year. Like this is just a long-term problem with the Bucks. I feel like they have to like progressively try and get slightly younger while maintaining their talent. But yeah, they kept everybody and they got them for cheaper discounts. I like the move. I like the move.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna give the Bucks an A. Keeping the core with Giannis, Chris, Drew, and Brooke together. That's obviously a recipe for a championship contending team, obviously. Bringing back Jay Crowder, he's a good rotational piece. I really do love the Andre Jackson pick. I think he's 6'6", but I swear he plays like he's 6'9". So I really love how versatile he can be in that rotation. I don't love them losing Javon Carter, but I think they'll find a way to make that work. So yeah, I'm gonna just give him an A.
Once again, I'm going to agree with Hosleezy here. I think A is about right. I think re-signing all your pieces, as Chris said, that can win a championship and have won a championship together is really important, especially when they're all still in very good basketball shape and they're not really declining as of yet. But I think A is just all around a fair grade. They haven't really done much but re-sign their key players, which is what they needed to do. So
I also gave them an A. I love what the Bucks did. I'm a big Bucks person. I love them. Big Bucks guy. Kept their guys. You added Malik Beasley. That's a plus. Re-signed Jay Crowder. It was funny how they traded 19 second-round picks for Jay Crowder and then just didn't use them, and now they're re-signing him. So it's funny to see how that working. I see people on Instagram and TikTok or whatever like saying all these issues about the Bucks as if Giannis didn't play like a game and a half in the playoffs. Like,
Right.
Come on, Giannis plays. They beat the Heat. I don't care what anyone says. And it's a totally different thing. Like, does Budenholzer get fired? Whatever. I think Budenholzer had his issues. I think he got stagnant, and I think teams were going to figure out Milwaukee. So I don't disagree with the coaching change, but I'm curious to see how that'll play out. What kind of offense he's going to implement? But Bucks are the Bucks, man. They're here to stay.
Awesome. Shout out the Bucks. Shout out Milwaukee.
I hate the Bucks.
The next team, the New York Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
All they did was sign Dante DiVincenzo.
Exciting.
They lost Obi Toppin via trade, and they lost Derrick Rose to free agency. That's it. I give the Knicks a C-.
C-.
I didn't think there was really a need for Dante DiVincenzo.
I think there
He's
was.
cool,
Yeah,
but he's
because
cool.
he's kind of like Josh Hart, but like not Josh Hart at the same time.
Yeah.
Like Josh Hart, but like white.
For chemistry, the chemistry aspect
You have a
was a good
pretty
sign.
you have a pretty gaping hole now at the backup 4 position. Like
Yeah.
wide and open, a ginormous mega hole.
Yeah, huge hole.
Wow. That was great.
I'm gonna go with the same grade as OB. I do feel like Dante was a good signing though. For the chemistry aspect, I feel like having another person at the Villanova thing, definitely very, very interesting. Maybe it's some low-key recruiting, from McCall. You never know.
They're
They did
definitely
some.
trying their
Yeah,
hardest.
they're definitely all in
They're
their group
trying their
chat. Like,
hardest,
yo,
yeah.
please just cross the bridge.
Yeah. So
Yo,
it's like,
He's so close, but so far.
it's like, yo, you could walk across the bridge.
Yeah.
Just come on.
yeah. So like getting that is very, very essential. I do like the fit, and I think that like you're gonna see that trio when they share the court. You're gonna see some special stuff out of them, because you started to see some special stuff out of them when they brought in Hart. This the kind of like natural chemistry that the two of them had, him and Brunson, which just comes from like playing together for like a long time, winning a championship together and being friends. And I feel like you can never diminish that benefit when like and you're really like locked in with the person that you're playing with on your team. When that happens, tends to result in success. When like if you're more than teammates and it's almost like a brotherhood type situation, it tends to result in championships or just success in general.
like the Bay Terrace boys.
Like the Bay Terrace boys.
Sleazy, yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to give the Knicks probably a B- because they didn't really do anything like diminishing to their roster other than losing Opie Toppin. But like you said, it's a very large, wide, gaping hole at the 4th spot. So, I think their only issue coming into the offseason, well, I wouldn't necessarily call it an issue, but their only big need that they needed to do was re-signing Josh Hart, and they did that. So I think I'll give them a B+, B-.
I'm gonna give my New York Knicks a D+.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. We got Dante DiVincenzo. He's from obviously from the Villanova tree. We know what Villanova players do. Villanova just breeds winners. You see it time and time out. Every Villanova player that comes in is just really fundamentally sound, and I think the Knicks could use that. But I still don't understand getting rid of Obi Toppin, your backup 4, who played rotational minutes for you. It wasn't like in the regular season. In the playoffs, he played an extended amount of period in the playoffs for literally nothing. He was still 23, I think. He's 24.
Yeah.
He's still really young. And it's not like this dude was no one in college. He won the player of the year when the Knicks drafted him. And we gave him away for 2 second-round picks because Thibodeau wants to have him stand in the corner and occasionally do some cool dunks. And that's it. And I just don't get it. I think D+ is D+.
All right, let me crack my fucking knuckles. I also gave the Knicks a C-. It's giving away Obi Toppin for nothing. Then you don't replace him in free agency. DiVincenzo, cool, love the guy. He's a great player. Like I would have taken anyone who can hit a 3-pointer because can do that except for Jalen Brunson. And my other problem with the Knicks is I think Thibodeau is just not the guy. Like I don't know how much better you can get under Thibodeau. The offense is so stagnant. Like you said, Obi Toppin sat in the corner, and that dude, he was good to airball 1-3 every single game, airball to 3. And like in the playoffs too, he'd be like missing threes, and I'm like getting mad, but I'm like, why is this guy taking 5 threes in a game? Like use him use him like Aaron Gordon or something like that. Put him in the dunker's position. And it's just so aggravating. Like he never, like Tibbs never called like pick and rolls with him. Never. He just like
juggernaut, bro.
Tibbs just doesn't unlock anything. And I'm really trying to go in here and dude,
bro, I'm
messing up my flow, man.
This bug's annoying me. I'm sorry. He's dead now. Don't worry.
Word. All right. Thibodeau just can't unlock a next level to your offense, even when he has a star point guard in Jalen Brunson. And as far as like Randall and Barrett, like those guys, they're so perfect for the Knicks because you can love them and then hate them so much immediately. Like it switches up because of how they play. And yeah, so the Knicks did not do anything exciting. They're but the one thing is it does seem like they're waiting to make a big time move. So they didn't, panic and get Donovan Mitchell last season. So it's just a matter of making the right move. So we'll see what happens.
It wouldn't have been a panic to get done.
Looking back, no, we definitely beat Miami, and if Miami beats Boston, then we should say the Knicks with Donovan can't beat Boston and go to the finals.
Dude,
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that hypothetical.
With Donovan Mitchell, we don't beat Miami.
I don't think y'all beat us with Donovan Mitchell.
Probably not, but I'm just saying, like hypothetically, there's a chance. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, Don on that team. Like, if you look at Brunson's looks, don't get me wrong, Brunson is an amazing player, but Don, this guy literally shoots 40% from three in the playoffs every year since he's been there. This guy's a playoff riser. I mean, he has his issues because oftentimes he doesn't have any help. I feel like he's good enough where Julius isn't going to be that bad. And Julius sucks, and I hate Julius. But I feel like he's good enough where Julius is not going to play like that in the playoffs. They're going to be so busy trying to stop Don from getting 40 that Julius is going to have a quiet 20 and 10 game.
Julius is so aggravating because he'll do something so good. Like, he'll just bully ball, get to the basket, and it's like, bro, do it again. So he comes down the court, step back three, hand in his face. It's so aggravating. The one thing I'll say in defense of Julius, though, the Knicks had no shooters, so it was so easy to double team him, and he's really bad when he gets he just never ever makes the right decision.
Most players aren't good when they're double teamed.
But guys like make the right decisions. Like, it's hard to double team a lot of guys. Julius just throws the ball across the court, and yeah.
It also has to do with Thibodeau's like touches and whatever, because
the
regular season, like the reason why the Knicks were successful, I think I don't know if I was talking to OB about this or I was talking to somebody else about this, but they added Brunson and they took the ball out of his hands, where like he basically became like the secondary ball handler playmaker, as opposed to 2 years ago when he was the primary playmaker, always bringing the ball up, always being relied upon to create and generate the offense for himself and others. And when you take that responsibility away from him and just say, okay, Julius, we're just going to have you create in the mid post and let these other people float around and operate around you. And we're going to have you focus on taking catch and shoot wide open threes, or you just getting to the rim. And that results in him having a great year, as opposed to 2 years ago where it was just him trying to do some stuff and then taking some mid-range stuff that just was not falling.
All season, I would watch the Knicks and I would watch Julius Randle, and I'd be like, dude, this guy takes and makes the craziest shots, and there's going to be a point where it's just not going to happen anymore, and that's exactly what happened.
Bro, I'll never forget the Heat game winner in the regular season.
The worst shot
I've ever seen. The craziest shot I've ever seen in my life. Definitely not. That's definitely an exaggeration, but you get what I mean. Crazy. That was insane. I remember I was at work, and I was moving with the patient, and he hit the shot, and I go, oh! I start screaming. Poor guy got scared.
Well, that's the Knicks.
That's the Knicks, man.
Feel bad for you guys.
Bing bong.
No.
Bing bong.
Next team, the Orlando Magic. The Magic signed Joe Ingles. Magic drafted Anthony Black at 6, Jet Howard at 11. They lost Bol via waving.
Did he wave back?
No.
Nah.
Uh,
No.
the Magic. Give the Magic a C. C plus.
Generous.
Yeah, C, I guess. I think I'm fine with the Anthony Black pick. I get the fit is a little concerning, but Anthony Black is just a basketball player. He'll be able to play with anyone. He's just a good connecting piece. He could defend, and he's a high level, high IQ, high field player. So I'm fine with the Anthony Black pick. Would I have liked him to go to a different situation? Yeah, but I get it. And also, Markel Fultz seems like he's not going to be your answer long term at point guard. So Anthony Black will eventually take that role over. So it makes sense from that standpoint. The Jet Howard pick, I absolutely hate it. I'd give this pick an F. I think a team that needs shooting the way they do to leave Grady Dick and Jordan Hawkins on the board and take Jet Howard, I think that's a big mistake. And I think this team had an opportunity to add more via free agency. And I don't know if Joe Ingles was exactly. He's definitely gives them shooting, but I think there were better options out there for you than a Joe Ingles type of guy. So overall, I give it a C. Nothing that's gonna ruin this franchise's hopes and dreams, but not good either.
I think that this was the off season where the Magic, like literally, the playbook was written for it to be perfect, and they fucked up every single way that they could. Like, you literally have the golden path that's mad easy, and then you have the path that's complicated, but might go a little bit further, and they picked the complicated path for absolutely no reason. And for that, I'm giving them a D. I'm giving them a D.
Robert Frost.
Shout out Robert Frost.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the
giving
guy.
them a D plus. I'm giving them a D plus. There's absolutely no reason for Anthony Black to be your pick. He's a phenomenal player. He deserved to go there. He didn't. There's absolutely no reason. Like, you already have question marks about Suggs. You already have question marks about Cole. Why are you adding another guard to this situation? Especially when you have no real need for a primary ball handler guard, which is literally what he's good at. He's really good at being a connecting piece, a passer, a decision maker. You have two guys that are already good at that, and that's already their job. You really just need a point guard that's not going to get in the way and is somebody that can develop alongside France. Anthony Black is the kind of guard where, to get the most out of him, like OB said, a completely different situation where he can just grow into his own game with no restrictions is perfect. But now
I think he'll be fine. I
I
think
think it's just going to be a
Fultz is gonna
weird
be out. I
developmental
think
period.
Fultz is going to be out the door. I think this first year might be a little bit rough, but he's a basketball player. Like, he's going to be able to play. He could play with anyone. You could
just
put
think it's
anyone
gonna
on the
be-
court with him. He could play and be productive. The spacing at Arkansas, that Arkansas team was good on paper, yeah, but the spacing there was among the worst in all of college basketball. You're gonna give Anthony Black like legit NBA space, even though the Magic aren't a great 3-point shooting team. Still, the space in the NBA compared to what he had to deal with at Arkansas is going to be a drastic change for him. And he's a guy that's great in transition already, so he's going to be fine. My thing was the Jet Howard pick.
well, the Jet Howard pick is just icing on the cake. There's just no reason why it wasn't Grady Dick, but yeah, I don't like the Anthony Black pick myself. I genuinely thought that, like, at 6, I thought it was going to be maybe, if All-Star fell at 6, I thought it was going to be him. If he didn't fall at 6, I thought it was going to be somebody else, or a trade down even for a team that wants to get Anthony Black, be it the Wizards or whatever. I didn't expect them to take Black at 6. I don't like the Black pick because I think it's weird. I don't like the Jet Howard pick because, for the exact same reason, OB doesn't like it. And yeah, I felt like more moves could have been done in free agency because you didn't add the shooting that you needed in the draft, and they didn't make those. So that it's a D plus for me. Stupid.
I'm gonna have to give the Magic probably a C minus, and I'm gonna have to agree with Chris on this one. I like the Anthony Black pick because I think he is one of those plug-in players where you could pretty much put him in any system and he'll thrive. The Jet Howard pick is absolutely abysmal. I don't know why the fuck they did that. I don't. Joe Ingles, he's cool, but it's not really. It's
Joe
not,
Ingles.
it's Joe Ingles. They could have
Yeah.
did without him, but adding him isn't gonna hurt. So yeah, I give him a cool C minus.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with everyone else before me with everything they said about the Orlando Magic. Just Joe Ingles, cool signing, I guess. Could have went without signing Joe Ingles and probably would have been the same grade, C minus. The Anthony Black pick, I do agree with Chris on this one, and O'Sleazy. Just the plug and play ability. I think he's gonna be really good at that. And I just don't get losing Bol to the wave. All he had to do was wave back, and it just didn't. But I think losing Bol when someone finally gave Bol a chance, he actually wasn't horrible on a basketball court. He actually produced for the Orlando Magic, and then just getting rid of him, I just don't get it. But C minus.
Yeah, I like a C minus. They just didn't do anything to. I don't mind the Anthony Black pick. I think he's a really good player. And he just does what you need him to do. You have Franz, you have Paolo, you have Wendell. Those are three really good players. They got their front court figured out. Back court's a mess. There's question marks with Suggs, Fultz, Cole. So if they think Anthony Black's their guy of the future, by all means. I don't get why they didn't get Grady Dick. I feel like that pick was right there.
They had the greatest trio ever assembled. They had it right there. At Suggs, Black, Dick, and they just didn't do it.
Let me just say that, like, the main reason why I don't like the Anthony Black pick is not specifically because, like, granted, I don't like the fit on the Magic, right? But I do agree with what you're saying. He is a plug and play player. I just think selecting him just makes the Suggs pick pointless.
Suggs is fine.
Yeah.
I
Suggs
think
can play with
I feel like
Black
Suggs is
fine. Suggs is a
Either-
combo. Suggs is a combo guard. Suggs
don't
was
think
never
he's-
going to be the full-time point guard.
I thought he was. I thought his future was at the point.
I think
I
both
feel
of
like
them
at the two,
play on and off the ball. Plus, with Franz and Paulo, you need a guy who could play off the ball like Jalen Suggs. I think Jalen Suggs is fine. I thought he was really good for them this year.
I
As
feel
a
like his
combo,
future-
though, as the two guard with Fultz starting at the one.
I feel like he's gonna end up being one of those guys that doesn't really impress, leaves, and then has to find his way someplace else, and that'd just be a waste of a pick by the Magic, considering how high he went. And this could have been avoided if you got the two shooters. To me, you got the two shooters. I thought their two draft picks were going to be Grady Dick at 6 and Kassan Wallace at 11. That's what I thought it was going to be. Or Keontae George at 11. That's what I thought it was going to be. They didn't do it.
Yeah. All right. Next team, the 76ers.
Ooh.
They signed Pat Bev. They signed Mo Bamba. They signed Montrezl Harrell. They lost Jalen McDaniels. They lost Georges Niang. I give the Sixers a C. I don't know. I don't really feel anything about the Sixers offseason so far. It really depends what happens with James Harden. I don't really think there's anything else to say.
I have to give this. I'm gonna agree with OB. Basically, I'm gonna give them a C minus. The only reason why I give them that C minus is because I feel like they shouldn't have allowed themselves to be put into this James Harden situation. There's too much dissension in their locker room. Their personnel is kind of weak because of how they've spent their money. I mean, these are like previous decisions that are coming to roost. I feel like Tobias needs to be moved. He should have been moved by now. He has to be moved. They have to move Tobias. They need the cap space, and they need to bring in people that can really support And yeah, the decision on James Harden will affect the move like in a big way or a bad way. If James Harden leaves and they don't get a replacement or they don't find a way to come out of this in a good rebuild situation or a similarly contending playoff situation, it's going to be an F. If James Harden comes back, that puts them at like an A minus, because that puts them in a contending position. But I still don't like them as a contender. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree, and I'm gonna give them probably a B minus. Obviously they're coming into the off season. Not even the off season, like basically when the playoffs were over, their main problem was getting rid of Doc Rivers, which was what they needed, which I felt like was what they needed to do. But yeah, considering whoever signs or gets James Harden, whatever they get in return could possibly be higher, maybe an A minus, maybe just a B plus. But until then, just had to keep them at a B minus or C.
Sounds good.
Once again, the Sixers really haven't done much. I feel like all the Western Conference teams were always doing something. The East is just kind of laid back for the most part. But I mean, you added Patrick Beverley. It's cool, I guess, as a backup guard to hopefully James Harden. Because if Harden doesn't come back, then the hell do your team for? Just get rid of everyone at that point. But if you keep Harden, I think signings are okay. Overall, give this team a C. Nothing really moves me of what they've done or what they lost. It really all depends on James Harden.
I went with C minus. I just don't think they even if they keep Harden, I don't think their additions were like great. But yeah, it all depends on Harden, man. I mean, Philly's just a mess. Like anytime, like they were still in the playoffs, and people were talking about like, oh, Harden wants to go to Houston in the second round of the playoffs. Like that's where his mind's at. If that's the truth, like you gotta like that's crazy. Like the whole team isn't focused, and it's just it shows when they play, and they're just a mess of an organization, really, like these past few years. And I feel like they need to make changes, and they just don't. Doc Rivers is people are starting to realize that he's one of the most overrated coaches of all time. He just falls apart. Harden and Embiid, they just fell apart, and something's got to be done. I mean, Tobias Harris is literally being compared to. They want like everything for him, and then he's being compared to a crumble cookie. It's just a mess. But yeah, Philly just didn't move me.
All right. Next team, the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors signed Jalen McDaniel, re-signed Jakob Poeltl, and signed Dennis Schroeder. They also drafted Grady D at pick 13. They lost Fred VanVleet. And yeah, I give the Raptors a C. I don't really have any thoughts about the Raptors. I think they probably should have signed a guard in free agency.
That's not Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh, they did sign
Yeah,
Dennis.
they signed
My
Schroeder.
bad.
I mean,
No. I take that back then. I'm sorry. I completely forgot they
It's
signed
still a
Dennis
C?
Schroeder. Yeah, I think Dennis Schroeder's fine as a backup guard. I just think they didn't really do anything to move any needles. Losing Fred is going to hurt this team in a win-loss sense, but I think it's good for their development. I think the next step is trading Pascal and going into a rebuild. It's time to retool. This team has had a ceiling, so
they won already. I mean, they did what they had to do.
I think seeing Fred go that's the first step for them. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a C plus with they'll be on everything he said. The next move is really just to move on from Fred. That's about it, really.
I'm gonna give the Raptors probably give them a C plus. Moving on from Fred, obviously, I do think they're gonna move on from Pascal soon. They might as well go ahead and send OG to the Celtics. I'm not gonna wait too much longer for that.
Bring him to the Kings.
Um,
love to see him on the Kings.
Ew.
Ew.
Yeah, I think they didn't really do anything that really moved me. So B minus, C plus, I guess.
It's fair. I'm gonna go C. I'm gonna go C minus here simply because you lost Fred, and all the rumors about trading Pascal and trading OG, trading everyone last season, halfway through the season, everyone thought these players were 100% going to get moved. Come to find out that they weren't. I feel like it was just kind of I mean, it's good that they took this first step, as Chris said, getting rid of just losing Fred and not offering her a real contract that could compete with the one he got from the Rockets was, I think, the right move. Actually, well, I'm gonna go C plus because that was the right move. I think it's time to finally let the tank happen, embrace the tank.
Yeah, I'm with Ortiz. I like the C plus simply because you didn't pay Fred $40+ million. Losing him is better than doing that. Fred's a cool guy, but we're good on that. I think Toronto's just been kind of living off the Kawhi high for the past few years. They had that team. They plugged in Kawhi. They won a championship, and then I think they were just hoping that would happen again, where they have Pascal, they have Fred, they have OG. They could just plug in a superstar. And it just never happened, and now they're realizing that the window's shut. I can't wait to see where they send Pascal. I think he solved a lot of problems for a lot of teams. So yeah, I'm gonna see.
All right. And the last team, the
Wow.
final team, we finally did it.
We made it.
The Washington Wizards, and this is a long one, the intro for this one. The Wizards added Patrick Baldwin Jr., Danilo Gallinari, Tyus Jones, Mike Muscala, Jordan Poole, Andrew Shamet, Ryan Rollins, re-signed Kyle Kuzma, drafted Bilal Coulibaly, Tristan Vucevic. They lost Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, Monte Morris, Chris Paul, who they had for a second. They lost him too. Kristaps Porzingis and Isaiah Todd. The Wizards, I give an A+.
Wow.
An A+. Because they finally picked a direction. That's all I asked from them. Maybe the return for Bradley Beal isn't what you would want it to be. They probably should have traded him sooner, but it was, they were in that purgatory stage for a long, long time, and they finally picked a direction. I think Bilal is a very cool and fun prospect to start your rebuild with. I think at that 7 position, he arguably had the most upside. So I think they definitely had a good offseason. I think Jordan Poole will be cool for them. I think bring back Kuzma back is awesome. So yeah, A+ for the Wizards.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with very similar commentary. For the official grade, dang, I honestly need to give it. I'm gonna give them a C+, B minus. For basically all the reasons that OB touched on. I don't really have much to really add as far as they're concerned. They didn't really,
That's fair. It is Washington at the end of the day.
They're the most C+ team ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you said, I'm gonna have to give them a C+. Finally moving on from Bradley Beal is a plus because, like Chris said, you're finally figuring out what kind of direction this team wants to go in. Getting a guy like Jordan Poole is always a plus. Yeah, C+.
Yeah.
To no surprise, I'm going to go C+ here. I think for all the reasons everyone has just said. I mean, it's really hard to base this team. I guess it was cool. They traded a guy who was pretty much going to get waived for Jordan Poole. So, woohoo. C+. There's not really much to say about the Wizards of Washington.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a B. They picking a direction was, and it's funny, like that's the bare minimum. Like just know what you want to do with your team, and it took them so long to do that. But they traded away Bradley Beal. They held on to him for all these years for whatever reason.
Give him money.
Yeah, gave him a ton of money. But they did it, man. We won't hang up on the past. Now they have Beal. They have Kuzma. He's gonna look good on the Wizards, and he's a good player. Tyus Jones, he's gonna put up some good numbers for the Wizards. Those guys are gonna build value, so they have some interesting pieces. It's all about decision making going forward.
All right.
Wow.
And that is every NBA team's offseason graded.
Woo-hoo.
Shout out the Eastern Conference.
Shout out
We
the
did
Eastern
it.
Conference for not being as exciting as the West.
We did it.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
After like the first couple of teams, we really ran out of basically.
It's just like the same thing. Like everyone kind of
Yeah, I mean, no one really
got worse, but no one got too much better.
in the
like,
East, at least.
Mhm.
No one really.
And the good teams that are making exciting moves, we have to wait and see. Like we could have had a whole conversation about Miami and Philly, but we just don't know what direction they're going to be. Yeah, they could have a totally different team at the beginning of the season. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch going forward.
Definitely.
For sure.
I will say this first week or so of July is usually when they start to do stuff. If trades are not pre-organized, like prior to the draft and deadline, where it's like, okay, we're going to do this, and then it's going to happen after July 1st. This is usually when the groundwork is laid for those July trades.
I actually want to ask. I don't know if you guys talk about it too much on the Western Conference episode, but what's the opinion on like the whole like people think that Dame's being a diva now?
He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
He definitely is.
He's like, yeah, I've been loyal all these years, and now you're gonna bend to my will. Like,
I kind of don't believe it, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it
Think you're
might. I think
exaggerated?
there's a possibility that they're just reports coming from Miami
Mm.
to try and lower his trade value. I just find it
Yeah.
hard to believe that a guy who preached loyalty and all that for all this time would do such a thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a report.
He's always
someone close to him said
just for-
like he won't be happy anywhere else. I think that's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
he's always
just,
been a person of good character.
just request the
okay.
trade and move on.
That's
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
You didn't sign a no trade clause.
Yeah.
Word. He's
And
always
so-
been a man of good character, and for him to go
Yeah.
around and have all this stuff coming out about him, I mean, his agent could be spewing stuff to just lower his trade value, but like here's the thing: if his agent is saying this stuff under his direction to lower his trade value, where the only team that is going to take him is Miami, then what he's doing is really, really grimy, very, very grimy to Portland, because. Like for the past 10 years, Portland has never really gotten him a team where he could win. But if he walked into Portland and said, hey, I want $50 million a year, they would have offered it to him on the spot.
And also, he came out multiple times and said he's perfectly fine with what Portland put around him. Like
Yeah.
he made his bed. Like he's never wanted to be traded. They've
Yeah.
never really not accommodated him. Like, yeah, they haven't done a great job of putting a good team around him, but like it's hard to build a championship team, man.
Years ago-
It doesn't always get done.
Years ago when CJ was really nice, they asked him, hey, do you want this? Do you want that? And he said, no, I'm good. He
Yeah.
didn't openly recruit anybody. Like he just thought the people. No, that's not
Yeah.
how it was, bro.
Do we think Dame will be happy if they win the regular season tournament? If he finally gets a ring in that, maybe?
I guess.
Maybe.
I guess. So now I want to do this fun little game.
Yeah, I'm excited for
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Can we go over the rules? Oh, I'm sure
Yeah.
you're gonna
So
explain.
yeah, I have to do TikTok intros and
right.
stuff.
We have to cook these fools.
Yeah. How well do you know the 2010 NBA season? So this is an idea from BDGE. If you guys don't follow them, follow them. Great football content. They did this with football content. But what I need from you guys, the teams are Ortiz and Tom, since they're right here in front of me, versus the Shields and O'Sleazy. And what you guys have to do is name all 16 playoff teams from each conference, the 5 awards: MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, and Sixth Man of the Year, the finals matchup, and the finals MVP from the year 2010. So we're gonna do the first to get 10 points wins.
Okay.
All right.
Bless you.
Keys and Tom, you guys are in front of me. You guys are the home team, so you guys have the.
Oh, that's not fair.
They're the
Yeah,
home
that's
team.
not fair, bro.
You're quite literally away. Like
Yeah.
All right, you're right.
in a much more literal sense.
So,
That's
Yeah. So what
what
do
do
we?
you want to go for first?
Sleaze, we got this, bro.
All right. So it's awards, champions, and
And
all the
playoff
playoff teams.
Yes.
2010. So 9-10.
9-10.
Okay.
9-10.
Do you want to get the easy stuff out of the way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So,
So
you want to go?
champs,
I was supposed to say we go MVP, but we can go champs. So
champs, Lakers.
Yes, it was
Yep.
the I'll go finals matchup.
Finals match.
Oh, finals matchup?
It was 9-10. That was the Lakers, and that was the
Celtics, right? No.
No, it was the
No.
it was the Magic.
Magic.
It was
yeah,
the
yeah,
Magic.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You guys are locking in your guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incorrect.
You already got one wrong.
Yeah,
Pretty terrible.
Yeah, it
Was
was
it the
that.
Celtics?
It was.
the Magic was mid 2000s, bro. That was
All
like
right, so Team the Shield, Squeezy, you guys are on the clock right now.
It's fucking 3 a.m, bro. Like,
Yeah,
well,
give me a
let's,
break.
let's
for
get
starters.
let's get the MVP
Let's
out the way.
just get MVP out the way. LeBron James.
The MVP was indeed LeBron James. All right, you guys are up.
Well, do you want to get the easy stuff out of the way?
Apparently we can't. So I don't know. Maybe I should just tell you the New York Knicks roster from that year. It might be easier. Your call. I called the last one. You call this one.
We'll go with a playoff team.
A playoff team.
A playoff team. We'll go
Okay.
with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cavaliers did make the playoffs.
Strange one to guess.
They
but
were the
okay.
first seed, 61 wins.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Remember your guys' score, by the way, please.
We got one.
1-1, right?
Mm-hmm.
2010 didn't.
We know Sleaze. We could get defensive player of the year real quick. I know
Okay,
you know.
yeah, we can do that. I was about to go for coach of the year, but we can do that too.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I didn't even put Coach of the Year in this.
Oh, damn.
I mean, we
MVP,
can verify real quick
MVP,
if
Rookie
they
of the
wanna
Year,
do it.
Defensive Player, most improved six man. Do you want me to add Coach of the Year? I could just look it up real quick. Must
Yeah,
we
go
add
ahead.
it? Do you know the Coach of the Year that you want to guess that?
It's crazy.
Kinda, yeah.
All right, give me a second.
I'm pretty sure Thibodeau won it that year.
Sleaze,
I
no,
think
bro.
that's pretty incorrect. That was
Is that our official guess?
Yes.
That's our guess.
Was that your guess?
No.
All right.
All right. So can we do defensive player of the year?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dwight Howard.
Is that how that works? No, we lost finals. We didn't get the finals. We didn't get to take another guess, right?
That's
Well,
Oh,
he,
yeah.
he didn't have coach of the
Dwight
year.
Howard won 4 years in a row.
I just
Yeah,
really threw it out there.
Yeah, but if you got it right, you would have taken the point. That's all I'm saying. Whatever. You can take it. It's fine.
Oh man, maybe I should ask the committee.
Oh man.
Was that a guess or was that not a guess?
There is no committee.
I feel like
That's
it
true.
wasn't a guess, but then when I responded with, "Well, that's incorrect," that
It
made it a
made it,
guess,
yeah.
right? Like I feel like I sold the bag.
Well, then now it's not fair if they take our
All
defensive
right, so
player of the
let's
year
strike
answer.
deep.
Yeah.
one.
You
No one
can't take
can
our
get deep
defensive player of the year answer then.
All right,
No-
fair.
no
Yeah,
one can
just
get
say
deep
that
one.
on your next turn
Mhm.
for the talk.
Okay.
All right, so you guys are
For the top.
All right. So we got what do we got out of the way? MVP. We still don't have the champs, right?
Dang it out, Tom.
Lakers Celtics.
Lakers Celtics
Okay.
was indeed the finals matchup. Okay,
Oh,
Yeah,
defensive player of the year, Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard was indeed the defensive player of the year.
But that counts or no? I'm so confused.
That
Yeah,
counts.
That counts.
Okay. So 2-2.
Yeah.
right, that's fine.
I'm gonna go Eastern playoff team. Give me the Boston Celtics.
The Celtics.
I'm an asshole. I mean, are we counting that as a playoff team too? Because they
were a playoff
Okay.
team.
Well, I mean, they were in the finals.
Don't make it harder than it has to be,
yeah.
man.
The Celtics were a playoff
Celtics were a
team. Good
playoff
job.
team. End of the
Celtics were a
day.
playoff.
That's it.
I can give you the rookie of the year too.
Oh, I was
I
going to do
was
that.
I
I'm trying to think of that since
too.
this started.
Me too.
Huh?
I was going to do rookie of the year too. That's
Oh.
fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tyreek Evans.
It was indeed Tyreek Evans.
Yeah, okay.
Couldn't think of his name. Now I know it because he said it.
Right.
After you, Tom.
Wait, Chris, did you say most improved player was one of the options? too?
Yes.
Yes, most improved.
I
was
don't
right.
remember who that is. You know who this is?
I have no idea.
I'll tell you.
I thought you knew who this is.
I want to take a shot on 6-man, but I'm not gonna. Not yet.
I know who 6 man
I'm
is.
gonna
That's gonna be
establish a
the
lead. I might, but I'm gonna establish a lead first. Playoff team Mavericks.
The Mavericks were indeed a playoff team.
There we go.
4-3.
6 man of the year, Jay Crossover.
Yeah.
Jamal Crawford was
Crossover.
indeed the
Yeah.
sixth man of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Lamar Odom.
Not Lamar Odom.
Lamar was before.
Yeah.
What am I gonna go with?
Are there any awards left?
Most improved and coach of the year.
Coach of the year. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm gonna
anyone who was down
guess
there.
coach of the year was Mike Brown.
That's not a bad guess.
That's not a bad
Oh,
guess.
I guess I have to confirm.
Sorry if I
Oh
sold
my
it.
god, who the fuck?
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
a
a good
good guess, bro. I feel like we should all pick coach of the year until we get it.
I think
not gonna
It
lie.
was not
Please.
myself. It
MIP
was
in
not my
2010,
turn.
bro, is not an easy guess. I'm not even gonna go for it, to be honest. I'm not. Even,
2010 most improved, bro.
Bro,
I'm
that's
not
so
even
hard.
I know this, bro. I swear to God, I know this.
You definitely know it. You
I
got.
swear to God, I know this.
I think you know it. I think you should guess it.
Yeah, just keep guessing
Yeah, I
it
think
over
you
and
should go
over.
now.
please don't do it, bro.
Coach
Just
of the
do
year, you
playoff
guys are the
teams.
most improved. One of us is gonna get it at some point.
Let's just do playoff teams, bro.
Because I know it, bro. I know it. And it's gonna pain me if I don't.
It's probably a nobody, to be honest.
It's not though. I promise it's
It's
not.
definitely not a nobody.
I think it's a nobody. I don't remember anybody from
Okay,
the early
we
2010s
we
being
gonna
good
go
at
we can go playoff teams, and then while they're doing theirs, I'll go to most improved in my head.
Got you. All right, Obi, we're gonna do the Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Bulls were indeed a playoff team. The 8th seed,
By the skin of their teeth.
41-41, mid.
D Rose got 8th? Really? He must have sucked before his MVP year then.
There's an
Fine
easy
by me.
one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, was that his rookie
No,
year?
it's all you.
Okay.
No, that's his second year.
I'm gonna go playoff team Denver Nuggets.
The Nuggets were indeed a playoff team.
Yeah.
Was that the easy one?
Nicely done.
That was the easy one.
I see. You guys are so strange sometimes, man.
I'm gonna go another playoff team, the Orlando Magic.
This is literally gonna come down to the most improved
It's
player.
gonna come down to coach of the year.
Yeah,
The Magic
Coach of the
were-
year, actually, I'm saying.
The Magic were indeed a playoff
Yes.
team.
Yeah, it's 5-5, I believe. Yeah.
It's time after you.
Oh my god, this most improved player is gonna really fuck my brain up.
I don't know if this guy won coach.
I'm telling you, I don't think it's anybody, bro.
Nah, it's definitely someone.
Most improved.
No,
It's
but I'm saying
definitely-
the
it's
early
definitely
2010s,
somebody.
the early 2010s, the most improved players weren't guys who became stars. They were all like one-hit wonders. That's why I don't think we're gonna get it. I genuinely don't remember who.
But it's crazy because this guy, I don't think.
Like I remember all the most
Like, I
recent-
have a guess, but it's so off the wall that I don't think it's right. That's why I don't want to say it.
Got you.
You have to say it. Come on.
Like I know all the star ones like CJ.
So
and
it's
shit
not
like
our
that.
turn. We win already.
Like
Oh.
CJ, BI. These guys became stars.
All right. You guys got 5, 4.
Oh,
Oh, it's our
playoff
turn?
team. OKC.
OKC was indeed a playoff team.
Who'd they get?
The 8th seed with a 50-32 record.
2010
In the
playoffs.
18, really?
They were the 8th seed with
50.
50 wins.
We're gonna do.
West really
We'll do
dominated.
a playoff
like,
team.
decade.
Wait, what happened?
We'll do a playoff team. 9, 10.
11.
San Antonio Spurs.
Spurs were indeed a playoff
I
team.
was thinking of.
Give me. That's you guys got that away team chemistry, bro.
Yeah. You got anything?
How many playoff teams are off the board?
In the Western Conference, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 off the board.
Okay.
In the Eastern Conference, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 off the board.
Nice.
So 4 more in
Half
both
the playoff teams
conferences.
are out. Okay.
Yeah.
I got one for. I got one for a
Another
fact.
clue.
Mhm.
Why am I drawing a blank here?
Yeah.
There's so many options. You
did-
guys
yeah,
shouldn't
no,
be drawing
So
blanks.
many options.
I know.
It's just
There's so much to think about. Did we say the Lakers were a playoff team? Now that I'm thinking of it,
The Lakers are on the boards, are not on the board.
I would say the Lakers and Celtics don't
the
count.
Lakers as a playoff team.
The Lakers are a playoff team.
sick.
That's what I was contemplating if we said them or not.
Yeah, I didn't.
didn't want to
I
sound
thought.
like an
I
idiot.
totally thought we did.
Okay, I'm gonna go for sure. Didn't the Suns made the Western Conference Finals that year. I'm pretty sure.
They did indeed.
Is that the year
The
Kobe hit
Suns were a
the-
playoff
the
team.
game winner?
Good shit, Sleaze.
All right, sus.
Must have caught them right before the drop off because I can't remember. So it was being nice after that.
Yeah, because
Like,
Kobe absolutely fried them.
Mhm. That must have been their last good year.
Huh?
No.
The
I was
very
looking
last
at- I have a plaque on the wall.
Is that same year? That game? Yeah.
So I was looking to make sure.
My background is that championship. Anyway. If you got something, yell it out.
I kind of want to say somebody Sleaze, but I don't know if they made it or not.
Bro, the most improved. It's here, but I don't want to say it, bro, because it's so off the wall.
At this point, I wouldn't blame you if you did, bro.
Or I might just take a shot on the team. For the Western Conference, the Utah Jazz make the playoffs.
Utah Jazz did indeed make the playoffs. The 5 seed at 53 and 29.
Yes.
Darren Williams days. What a time.
Playoff team. Did the Houston Rockets make the playoffs?
That's your guess?
Yeah.
No.
The Rockets did not make the playoffs.
All right.
We have to get this
We
here.
have to get
It's okay. They'll never get that most improved, so we're fine.
Yeah.
There's one more Western. No,
They must have sucked that year, bro.
You guys just want to go until we fill out the entire board instead of going to 10 points?
I mean, we might.
No,
as
go
well.
to 10
It's
points.
gonna come down to coach of the year, most improved player.
I
Yeah.
don't even remember how many points we have.
It's
We have 7.
6. What?
It's 6-1.
It's got to be 6 up.
We have 7, Sleaze.
No, I think we're up by 1.
Yeah,
'cause
they're
You
up
got
by
one
1.
wrong. Yeah, whatever the score is, we're up 1.
8-7, 7-6.
Something like that.
8-7.
I did tally marks like an idiot. I don't
Why?
know
Why would you do tally mark?
I don't know.
You
Nah, I've
can't
been
even do
counting it.
tally marks. You can't do the one.
I mean, I just did the eyes, you know.
So we're at 7. They're at 8 then.
Yeah. All right,
Whatever, we'll just
8-7.
go till we finish anyway.
All right. Who won a lot of games that year?
Oh, I got another playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
Who was?
We
You
got
just
one.
gotta think of basketball teams.
No, I know that's. But which basketball teams were there?
the ones that were good.
No, I know.
I got one.
Oh, Sleaze. Oh, I'm dumb, bro. I just thought of one. I thought of one just now.
What, East or West?
I'm trying to think of an Eastern.
Can't snitch on that. That's gonna help him.
We didn't name a lot of them.
Eastern Conference? Yeah. I mean, it's 4 or 5.
Yeah.
There's 4 Eastern Conference teams left.
There's only 2 West teams
Yeah.
left.
And there's still 4 Eastern.
I got one, Sleaze.
I got a lock for the East and the West.
Well, I was
I got
about
a lock for the East.
really dumb, and that would have been really stupid if I said it. Wow.
All right, you guys got 5, 4,
I mean, I think
3.
Did the Warriors make playoffs?
The Warriors did not make the playoffs.
Yes, sir. OB. Did the Detroit Pistons make the playoffs?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
Pistons did not make the playoffs.
What?
No. No, the Shield. No.
Wait.
did the
Oh, this was after they traded Chauncey. Oh my God, he was on Denver by this time. I'm so foolish. I'm so foolish. They traded Chauncey to
the
Denver.
Pacers in the playoffs.
The Pacers were not in the playoffs.
Bet.
Okay,
You gotta
I'm
stay.
getting my locks out the way. The Charlotte Hornets got swept in the first round that year.
The Charlotte Hornets did indeed make the playoffs.
So it's
The
tight.
Bobcats at the time.
Well, yeah,
The Bobcats made the playoffs in 2010.
surprisingly, yes.
Who the hell was on it? Was that Al Jefferson?
No, that was Gerald Wallace and
I was about to say
company.
Gerald Wallace, and
Stephen Jackson, DJ
Did the
Augustine.
Wizards make the playoffs?
yeah, that's why I was forgetting DJ Augustine.
What was that?
Wizards with Gilbert?
The
No.
Wizards did
Oh,
not
you
make
guys are selling the bag.
That's John Wall's first
What-
year.
what
He
are
did
your
not
tie
make
game?
the
Yo, the Wizards.
Oh, they drafted
the
John
Wizards.
Wall,
Yeah,
right.
that was the stupid thing I was gonna say. I was like, wow, that would have been really stupid if I said it.
Now I'm getting my West team lock out of the way. The Portland Trailblazers.
Portland Trailblazers did indeed make the playoffs. So Squeezy's on a roll right now.
So that's 9, Sleaze.
This brain works.
That's 9. Please, I think I have a crazy.
Now I'm all out now.
MVP.
It's all on you now.
I have a crazy pick for MIP.
There's
Let me see if I
no West teams left, right?
There's
Was it
one.
left?
There's one.
No,
No,
the
no
West is done.
West.
Nice,
Done.
nice. No West.
So
Good. So
East.
let's keep getting Eastern teams.
There's
wrong.
3 Eastern teams.
I'm trying to think of teams we didn't name. We named a lot of
I
teams.
wonder if it's him. I think I got it.
3 Eastern teams?
I think I got it, Sleaze.
Who the fuck didn't we say yet?
Somebody just popped into my head.
All right, you guys got 5, 4.
Yeah, these guys are selling a bag.
Pass.
Sleaze, I think I got it, bro.
Fuck.
I think I got it.
Bucks?
Yeah.
The Bucks made the playoffs.
Oh, that's so crazy.
The 6th seed.
I was gonna say that.
Sleaze, be ready for this, right?
Don't let me down, all right?
The only reason why I think I got it is because OB right here is a Bulls fan, and he made me start thinking about it, right?
Oh,
I don't
Did
know what that
Aaron
means.
Brooks
What
win
that means.
MIP?
Aaron Brooks did indeed win. the player.
I would have never got that.
Oh, you're goaded.
It goes down to coach of the year, right? And there's one
You're
East,
goaded.
There's
two
2
East
East
teams and coach of
teams.
the year.
And
He
coach.
gave OB being the Chicago fan, bro. He gave it to me.
Score.
They're up 1.
Okay, so there's still a chance.
We
Aaron
hit 10.
Brooks really won most improved. I would have never guessed that. I
We hit
swear.
10.
I would have got that.
Yeah, it's 10-8.
So what is it? Only coach of the year and
Wait, you guys
Oh,
are
we
1 or
lost.
2?
They're up 1.
Oh, so it's 10-9.
I thought they're up too.
who the fuck won coach of the year in 2010?
I can't think of Eastern.
Okay, the top 3 seeds.
You guys got 5, 4, 3.
Said them, but
I'm
Philly.
gonna pick something obvious, Sleaze.
Philly.
Philly did not make the playoffs.
I don't know who else there is. I think we need.
Did
Yo,
But
did Greg Popovich win Coach of the Year?
Greg Popovich did not win Coach of the Year.
That's not a bad guess. I'm not mad at that.
I mean, yeah, it's a solid guess.
Who the fuck won coach of the year in 2010 then? What the fuck?
Did Doc Rivers win coach of the year?
Doc Rivers did not win Coach of the
Wait a
Year.
minute. Oh,
So are we only missing coach of the year?
Coach
And-
of the year.
and
There's
two,
one
two
East-
Eastern Conference.
2 Eastern Conference playoff teams left.
Okay, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. Did the Hawks make the playoffs in 2010?
The Hawks did indeed make the playoffs.
You got to get these two.
Yeah. You got to think of the team first. That's
Home court advantage does not
Only
matter.
a couple of
I'll
teams.
refresh you guys. The teams you guys said: the Cavs, the Magic, the Hawks, the Celtics, the Bucks, the Bobcats, the Bulls.
Oh, wait.
I don't think of divisions.
I have teams in mind. I just don't know if
Just
they make
I
the
just
playoffs.
rattled them off at this point. Who cares?
Did the Raptors make the playoffs?
The Raptors did not
I
make the
could've told you
playoffs.
Raptors didn't make the playoffs.
Well, then why didn't you?
I don't know if the Raptors were the first team you're going to go with.
What
Okay.
you think this is? You going coach of the year? Or you want to get this last playoff team out the way?
I'm getting Coach of the Year, bro. I'm trying to think of the teams that were nice. The Lakers won, but nah, that's not them. Who else would have won a hell of a lot of games? It wasn't the Cavs who won 61 games. It wasn't Mike Brown. Who else would have been nice? Wait, 2010.
I have no idea, bro. This is all on you.
This is gonna be a shot in the dark because I feel like this is the wrong year. I feel like he won it like 2 years later. Did Scott Brooks win Coach of the Year with OKC?
Scott Brooks was indeed the Coach of the Year.
Ball.
That was a great pull
This
out of
kid-
left
this kid
field.
knows ball.
No, because I was like, I'm thinking who was nice around that time, but I thought he won in like 2013 because I knew he won at one point.
They
in that
weren't
time.
nice. They were just a surprise. I mean, they weren't nice. They won 50 games, but they were the 8th seed.
I was about to say, weren't they the 8th seed that year?
They were like the surprise
Who
team.
was this last playoff?
Once he said it wasn't Popovich or the Lakers coach, I was like, I got to start thinking other teams that were nice because I knew it wasn't.
I was about to start googling shit halfway through. I'm not gonna
Can I
lie.
add fuel to the fire and get this last playoff team out the way?
The what? Do you want me to tell you, or you
Yeah,
guys want to guess?
It's already over, yeah.
I can guess.
Give me your guess.
Let him have it.
Come on.
The
Bro,
Heat.
It was indeed the
Was it
Miami Heat.
I didn't think the Heat.
Wow.
In all honesty.
That was fun. I like
Yeah,
it.
that was cool. That was
So I'm
solid.
gonna look this up right now. Let me see this. Coaches of the Year. I need to see who won what because this is weird.
I just never thought of it.
Yeah, no.
So Mike Brown won in 2008, 2009, and then Scott Brooks won in 2009, 2010, and then Thibodeau won in 2011. D Rose's MVP year, and then Greg Popovich won in 2012, and then George Karl won in 2013. I would have never guessed George.
That
Karl.
was gonna be my guess.
That was
right
the
there.
That
year
was
they were
with Ty Lawson. And
Yeah, that was
boys.
like the 3 seed. And they lost in the first round to the Warriors, right?
My Thibodeau pick was a year too early.
Yeah, 2013. I would have had it down pat.
Yeah, your Thibodeau pick was a year too early, and I literally picked one of the years that Greg did not win.
Yeah, I didn't even. I didn't start watching basketball till the year after.
That's so backwards.
But yeah,
You would have quizzed me on Linsanity. I would have aced it. But
yeah.
But that's
It's
kind of
been
weird.
real. It's
That's
been
weird.
real.
This was
It's
a
been
good one.
fun.
That's
That was
weird that
pretty
Scott Brooks
awesome.
didn't win Coach of the Year when his team went to the NBA Finals.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a pleasure having Tom, O'Sleazy, and the Shields here with us today.
Thank you for having me, fellas.
We
Thank
might
you,
have
guys.
to make some changes
For sure.
to the permanent ball game
We're
crew.
gonna have
Free
to
agency's
talk
coming,
with the corporation.
My agent
and-
will be in touch.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk
For
with
sure.
the corporation and see what they want to do moving forward with this company.
for sure. If you guys
I'm
enjoyed
gonna
that
pull a
pod-
Damian Lillard.
Hmm?
I'm gonna pull a Damian Lillard.
Oh,
Demand a trade to
Oh.
the ball game podcast.
but yeah, if you guys enjoyed that podcast, leave it a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Follow us on all our socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads.
Threads.
Follow us on
We're
Threads.
on the Threads.
Be
Follow
active
them
on Threads. If you're listening on audio software, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, all that fun stuff. And with that,
Ball game.
Bugging.
That was ball game.